black men, knowing that we all come from nothing. What is it like going pro?
Like, you know, a lot of people say they had dreams. I was just out there competing, having fun. Coming up where I came from, I got tired of them boys being better. But before all of that, I told my grandma, look, I'm gonna buy you a house.
Going pro also, it places you amongst the most powerful people that someone knows.
But also the most vulnerable.
Exactly, because you don't have the information.
You don't understand that people out there to take advantage of you. We don't know how to say no to the streets. We don't know how to say no to family members.
Right.
And it's hard because you come from that. You're a product of that.
Right.
So it's hard to say, I'm gonna slide over here.
Yeah. Protect your life at all costs. The conversation is important. B. Marshall is my homeboy. We doing B. Marshall tomorrow. Fred Taylor's my homeboy. We doing Fred Taylor today. We want to get into the IAA situation and what happened. Heard you say the $11 million number.
They say my worth 4%. My influence, everything.
4% of the podcast or the HOA brand.
I'm looking at his face and saying, okay, I believe you come from what I come from. You stand for what I stand for. You of the culture. We don't come from money, but we made a lot of money. At the end of the day, all that come down to integrity. What your face look like.
Would you sit down with B? I am Big Loon. To speak on this show, you must have the experience. You must be a subject matter expert on whatever it is that you're speaking about. We don't allow people to come and speak that don't have the credentials or the criteria. Here, we get the information, we on elevation and evolving. I go by the name of Big Loon. Today we got NFL legend, Freaky Freddie T. What's going on?
I'm still trying to figure out why they call it freaky though.
Yeah, I
can keep that under the wraps, but it ain't for everybody, right? But I'm still trying to figure out how I get on the show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, man? But I appreciate you, dog. And real quick, man, just showing love, bro. I seen you from afar. That's why I said I'm gonna jump on.
I appreciate it, bro.
You know what I'm saying? But to really walk in here, bro, and see you a one-man gang.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't watch a lot of your stuff. The baby one, you killed it. Little baby, I mean, you killed it. But man, just to see how you moving.
Yeah.
I see our production, but I see how you getting it from the mud, bro. Salute.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it, bro, because a lot of people give up.
Right. And it's a rough road, man. Like, especially when you battling in this industry with these giants, right? And especially even with y'all situation with the pivot and how you have to start from ground zero. It's a different thing, start from ground zero, especially after you done gained traction.
Right.
So to start over is a hell of a thing. And for me, it's just starting up and knowing, like I had told myself when I first started, I'm like, all right, Loon, you know you ain't got no co-hosts, you ain't got none of that, so it's all on you about the topics. It's on you about understanding the camera, the business, all these things you must understand. I thought wasn't no help coming. But I was mistaken that people like you, people like B. Marshall, people like Charlemagne, people like Wallow, people like Detavio at Revolt, people like QCP, Lil Baby, people started to pull in.
Right.
Like, nah, man, we with that. And so, you know, I can only say thank you, man, for coming through. Like I say, man, it's important.
Let me jump out there real quick. The reason they doing that, they see the transparency. They see the authenticity.
Right.
They see, you know what I'm saying, the level you coming from the mud.
Right.
Like a lot of us.
Right.
And for years, decades, really, when we talk about mainstream media, they ran with the story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They would take the interviews and they would dock it up and they would present it how they saw.
Right.
And if you're not of the culture, obviously, much like going way, way back, and I ain't know his story, I'm not gonna jump into it that heavy. When we talk about education, school books, what was given to us, what's erased, in presentation, that's big, right? So if we're getting it from them, this is what we know.
Right.
But if we're getting it from us, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If I look like you, think like you, feel like you come from where you come from, then I'm gonna relate to that message. So really it's the transparency and the authenticity in which you deliver the content.
Right.
People gonna with you and people gonna jump on it with you. And that's what we learned too with the pivot.
Right.
We ain't gotta be flawed, no fake shit.
Right.
We just gotta be authentic, be transparent. And what a lot of people are afraid of is the vulnerability. You can come from the street and still have that side.
You gotta have that side.
Up.
Yeah.
So I think with that'll carry you and keep you moving.
Right.
But it's the people, they get to decide.
Right.
The people who with you,
right,
they get to decide the message you running with, how I'm gonna with you, how long I'm gonna with you.
Right.
The sustainability. And you said you can have a 5-year run, but that don't mean nothing in 20 years.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah.
That's the truth, though.
Yes,
that's the truth.
Yeah, it's real.
Right.
I appreciate that. Like, man, and you know, my homeboys in the street, they think I'm big time. You know, I got football.
I get the same shit.
Got baby, and they say the woo loom shaking it. You know, so it's hard. It's hard
I get the
work.
same bullshit from my group chat.
Yeah.
Look at Freddie, that's the media.
Yeah.
Watch out for Freddie. They call me the feds. I'm like, man, we just having conversations, bro.
Right. And so I try to approach it that way, man. And I think that with the new media being what it is and everybody approaching it more like conversation, not documentation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think that it starts to resonate just a little bit better and translate. Let's talk a little bit about football, man, because I've always wondered what it was like for y'all black men, right? Knowing that we all come from nothing, but when y'all are able to transition and go pro,
right,
that experience, because it's not a lot of people that get that experience. I want to talk to you about that. What is it like going pro? What is that? What does that feel like? Like,
I can be honest with you, bro. Like, you know, a lot of people say they had dreams.
Mm-hmm.
They had dreams to make it to the NFL. They had this and that. I was just out there competing, having fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming up where I came from, I'm from Belgrade, probably about an hour north of here. Muck City is what they call it. And all we did was play football.
Right.
This is an agricultural town. All we did was play football. And I wasn't good, man. I was garbage as hell, bro. And I was just out there having fun, playing with the kids in the neighborhood. And then I got tired of them boys being better. I got tired of that shit.
Yeah.
And I started going to the park by myself, started challenging myself. Can I do this? Can I run all the way around town without stopping?
Right.
A lot of different little things played in my head. Fast forward, the next summer, I'm bigger, stronger, faster than everybody just out the blue.
Right.
Jumped the high school ball, didn't even know I'm just out there. And my coach, I got a coach that believed in me. He was like, I'm gonna make you a star. I said, all right, cool. I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah.
So he give me the ball, this and that, and that just came easy. I passed my grades early. Got a scholarship with Florida, and then I went to Gainesville, fucking around. You know, where I come from, we 99% black in high school. Went to Gainesville, it was a culture shock. It was totally opposite. It was about 90% white going to the University of Florida, getting there, doing some things out of character, still being myself, but that's all I knew. I wasn't exposed.
Right.
And then fast forward, 4 years, they didn't kick me out of school for some shit I did back in the day. I ended up getting drafted 9th pick by Jacksonville. But before all of that, I told my grandma, look, I'm gonna buy you a house. I ain't know how I was gonna do it, but you know what I'm saying, God worked mysterious way, right? So I got drafted 9th overall. I took care of my mom, then I bought my grandma a house. I fulfilled that promise.
Yeah.
And really still just out there. Didn't know no better. Didn't know nothing about finances, nothing about money.
Right.
I knew I had a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can blow it off, get anything that I ever wanted, you know what I'm saying, coming up. Anything that my childhood friends had that I couldn't get, I made sure I got.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And really it was just like this big weight off your shoulder.
Yeah.
But still, a lot of shit was missing because you don't understand that people out there to take advantage of you.
That's what I was going to ask you, because going pro also places you amongst, in the eyes of the street people and just black folks, because we are poverty stricken.
Right.
It places you in amongst the most powerful people that someone know.
But also the most vulnerable.
Exactly, because you don't have the information.
Yeah.
So was people running game on you, trying to run game on you, get some of their money out you?
You know what? Not people from where we come from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like they excited for you. I think the worst they did was wanting you to put them on, and that ain't bad. You know what I'm saying, necessarily.
But see, you can't just ask to be put in position, because what position you asking for? Like I ask people,
It wasn't
what
for
kind of
everybody.
deals
So
want?
you have people that looked out for you on your way there.
got to help
And people are planting they seed,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Thinking
Exactly.
they're gonna bet on that. Like
Yes.
anything else, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
So that part you feel an obligation
Right.
to make sure they're good.
Right.
So you're gonna drop something here, drop something
Right,
there,
right.
and keep it moving. Like, hey, I ain't trying to be affiliated with
Right.
this life, but I'm gonna look out for you.
Right.
Just because you looked out for me, you make sure I was good
Right.
when I ain't
Exactly.
had shit. So that's a part of the game. So and that happened.
Right.
And it's the I think the worst thing that happens to definitely us as guys that come out is we don't know how to say no.
Exactly.
We don't know how to say no to the streets. That's why you see a lot of guys getting jammed up out there.
Right.
We don't know how to say no to family members.
Right.
Especially when even the guys that don't go first round like I went, guys practice squad.
Right.
People think they instant millionaires.
They got
They're
it worse than y'all.
They're making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a check.
Right.
For as long as they own the team, so they check the check because they can get cut yesterday.
Exactly.
You know,
and
that
so
shit done.
Right. And so for y'all, it's like I said, it places y'all amongst the most powerful people that a black person would know.
Right.
But for them, it places them. It confuses people because it
Right.
places them amongst y'all, but they not as financially
They not there.
stable as y'all.
Right, and they not there, so people don't get that part of the message.
Right.
So I think that, you know, the satisfaction when you make it, it's a good initial feeling. But, you know, I can't speak for everybody else. I want more.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out here competing, and this shit came easy, so I want more. And as I went, my biggest challenge was, you know, how can I stay healthy? I'm down here in Miami partying 4 or 5 nights a week.
Right.
I'm going crazy, and we spending. I'm looking over that table. I'm seeing rappers and NBA guys popping bottles. I'm trying to do the same thing. That's the first mistake.
Yeah, you don't
You know what I'm
change.
saying? And you don't chase that.
Yeah.
And it's good that in hindsight, that's the message I'm sending
Right,
out now.
right.
But when I was 21, 22,
Can't tell you.
you can't say nothing. You can talk, you can say it,
Yeah.
but
It
you
don't
know,
sound different.
So that's
yeah.
the question I had today, even when I talk to the boys.
Yeah.
Like, are you listening?
Right.
You hear me, but are you really
Exactly.
listening?
It's a difference between
running
you
with
and
it.
listening.
Right. So it's a great feeling, man, to go pro, because you know you go from this status to automatically this status.
Right.
Whoa, hold on. I go by long. All of my interviews with everyone that you love. It's available on patreon.com. It's up there, podcast ad-free, as well as the show with just me, where I talk directly to the culture. Plenty more perks. I see you there. Let's get back to the show.
Nowadays with the media, the exposure, I think it's more entitlement nowadays. These guys are ranked in high school than in college. They get the money in college now with the NIL
They banking
deal.
on it before they even get it.
Right, they getting 50, 60, $100 million contracts now.
They get
That's
big
been
money.
different.
Yeah.
They should never mess that up. We should never mess that
Right,
up back.
right,
You know what I'm saying, back then. But it's a great feeling, man. It's just that it come with a lot.
Man, you were one of them dudes on Madden that was so hard to stop.
I ain't even play with myself.
I wondered, did
That
you
shit
ever
was
play
cheating.
with just that shit was
Yeah, no, it was cheating. Like Jimmy Smith, Jay Smooth was out there, and I was out there. They had me coming out after my rookie year, and I talked to Moss about it. I still feel like I should have won Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
That's been a debate, especially when we talk about my Hall of Fame situation.
I was gonna ask you.
But I had a great rookie year coming out, so automatically Madden took me up here.
Right.
And I knew a lot of the glitches and all that back in the day. So I had some games where I would hustle, you know, my homeboys out there in the street.
Yeah.
$1,500 game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I beat them, then give them the bread, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And which, bruh, it bring me to another situation, man. Really talking about, and I'm gonna be quick on it, man.
You good.
You know, these boys out here, like, rest in peace, Takeoff, right? In that situation, ain't no benefit in that.
Nah.
Like shooting dice and all that shit, I feel like you can be anywhere you want to be, but really ain't no benefit in it. Like you trying to show love and be in this situation, it ain't gonna make no money. You know what I'm saying? I've been there a lot of time where I'm gambling with the little homies back in the day. Cam Newton, he'll tell you, Aaron Hernandez, rest in peace. You know, Cosby twins, all them boys come to the house, I'm gambling. I give them their bread back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just to show them this, you got big money, long money.
Right.
Only thing can come with that is animosity, you know what I'm saying? So just really going back to it, you don't gain nothing from them tight situations. So I had to learn how to move.
Right.
Right. So I think that gambling with my homeboys, I gave them their bread back just to show them, man, this shit too sweet.
Yeah, we get money. And see, the situation with Takeoff, and again, RP Takeoff, my situation with that is saying this. As I look at it, everything is information-based for me.
Right, yeah.
Like, I don't do nothing without a risk assessment. I don't get out my chair right now to go use the bathroom without thinking what the cost of that is to this production, to this conversation, right? So I'm constantly calculating things. In that situation with Takeoff, my first thing would have said, not that I can't be with these guys if that's what I feel like, but there's no other caliber guys here like me.
For sure.
There's no other rappers here. I don't see another, like, it's just me, my people, and then a bunch of street guys. And that mixture is always dangerous. It's oil and water, right? The talented and the ones that's been able to get out of the ghetto have to understand you better operate with a very specific set of skills coming back down through the jungle.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, and so I feel sorry and feel bad that happened, man, but everything is information-based. You must take in account risk assessment. I don't gamble with niggas. Bro, my hood will tell you, I'm the gambling. I see you home with nothing.
Right.
I had your necklace.
And that's the same thing.
Yeah.
But, it's a whole lot, man, it's a lot of different ways to look at it, and I know it's real sensitive.
Right.
And the state of the state of the rap game, man. Talking to Fat Joe, we did a piece with him.
Right.
And that's the question I asked him. They trying to say being a rapper is the hardest job in America and all this other shit that come with it.
Right.
I really think it really comes down to, and it's hard because you come from that, you're a product of that.
Right.
So it's hard to say, I'm gonna slide over here.
Yeah.
But you feel safe there. And it shouldn't even be a situation when it comes to that.
Nah.
But
protect your life at all costs.
we have to weigh them.
Yeah.
We have to weigh that. And really, I just want to talk to it because even with my homeboys and gambling on the game, it was nothing I can really benefit from other than to fuck with
Right.
and laugh with them and have a good time.
Right.
But they're my dude.
Exactly.
Who I was fucking with. But yeah, man, I ain't even. I wouldn't play with us on Madden, bro. Like,
what
shit
about
was too easy?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it was so hard to stop you. I know you were talking about injuries.
Right.
With the NFL, I look at it like, do you ever think? Because I watched Cadillac Williams, and I kind of feel like they ran him in the ground.
Right.
Do you ever feel like they overworked you when you played?
Nah. You know what? Let me back that up. I had a coach who didn't fuck around.
Yeah.
Like when I first came in the league, the people in Jacksonville called me a bust because I ain't do nothing in the preseason. I was a 9th pick, so they called me a bust. And my coach would tell me, I love him to death now, what I'm saying? He would tell me, you got to run into the wall, just hit it running. But that was never my style.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So my college roommate brother, Willie Jackson, Doug would say, Freddie, that ain't why they draft you. You know what I'm saying? That they ain't draft you for that reason. Run how you always run. Don't even think about it. Learn to be the CEO of the run game.
Right.
That stuck with me my whole career. You know what I'm saying?
Hard.
Like, you ain't never met a CEO that fired themselves.
Right.
They might get voted off.
Right.
Stockholders.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All that. But they're going to be forced to resign. But they ain't never just fired themselves. So you're like, you the CEO of the run game. Just do your thing. Listen and practice. But when you're on the field, just do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Right. So when it come to it, that's what I did. But we practice hard. The game doesn't change.
Right.
When Cadillac came through,
but some of these teams won't give you. Some of these teams won't give you help though. Like, say they got a
but some
friend.
guys wanted that. Like Edrin.
Yeah.
Edrin took every snap in Indy.
And he wanted that.
He wanted that. That's how he prepared for the game.
Yeah.
That's why he was a dog.
Right.
He had his ACL, but that was because it was a freak injury. It wasn't because of how he worked.
What drives that though? What drives in a team sport? I'm gonna place myself and put that burden on me where it's like I'm gonna run every time.
Going back to it, it's where you come from.
Yeah.
What you was made of.
Yeah.
Then.
Cause it be making warriors of you niggas though.
It does, but that's when you don't come from much.
Yeah.
You love to compete,
Yeah.
And I tell people that all the time. I posted a clip the other day talking about teaching the young boys. I saw them trying to get me. I heard them talking about the injuries, but I taught the young boys. Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. I know what y'all trying to do, these insurance policies. I'm going to help y'all coach them.
Right.
I'm going to teach them. And then we going to go out there and compete together.
Yeah.
Them knowing what I know. I wanted them to help me. Like, who going to step up so they can help
me? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I lead the game, I don't want the offense to miss a beat. So it's a certain mentality. Competition is beautiful. Your kids compete for you. You got multiple kids. They're going to compete for your love and your attention.
Exactly.
So that's where it come from. And some people go a little bit more, but EJ was a dog. That's what he wanted. You talk about Cadillac.
Yeah.
Cadillac was a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just unfortunate.
It just
His career
seemed
got
like-
cut short because of those injuries. But that's part of the game. I hear these guys talk about all this shit, man. I got into, I be in the comments sometime. I got into a fucking Instagram back and forth with one dude about the field turf. Listen, man, injury's part of the game.
Right.
Guys run on the grass, they get hurt. They run on the field turf, they get hurt. Players talking about, y'all got to get rid of the field turf. That turf been there forever. They did a good thing. They got rid of the AstroTurf. That was real G shit. It was like this floor. And that's how hard. But Barry Sanders ain't get hurt.
Yeah.
And he was on the AstroTurf.
He was a dog.
There's a lot of guys that was on Franco Harris is in Pittsburgh on the old AstroTurf at Three Rivers. They ain't get them injuries.
Right.
That shit just happened. It's part of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether they run you on the ground or not, it's part of the game. But today's football, like we kid and say it's more like WWE.
Right.
It ain't the football that we knew.
Right.
But I understand it's the integrity of the game. It's protecting the shield. It's about monetizing, growing the game, you know, making it more fan friendly.
Right. Scoring.
TV deal
Yeah.
friendly, changing the rules to help with the scoring.
Right.
Back in the day, shit, 21 to 10 was a blowout.
Sure was.
Now we scoring 40.
I remember the
points.
Ravens had years where it was like you would average 10 points on them and things like that. Where it was like they wasn't
So the
giving
game
out
not
a
changed.
points up.
But it's different to help benefit the players, but the players got to take advantage of what's out there. A lot of them don't see it right now. They'll see it when they're done.
Right.
Like even with the CBA, they're asking for limited time on the field. Y'all should be asking for guaranteed medical when you're done.
Yeah, why
But they don't
is
think
that a
about
thing?
that. But because they don't think about it. Like
I have a hard time believing they don't think about it.
It's about right now.
Okay.
Like we was all there.
Yeah.
It's about right now. Like what can you do for me right now? I'm not thinking about my future because I feel like this money good.
Exactly.
This money gonna last me forever. Hell, for the fact of the matter is, a lot of guys don't think they can be hurt tomorrow.
Right.
And be done. They hear that average lifespan is 3 years.
Right.
They don't think that's gonna be them.
Right.
Because I've been playing this game for forever.
Right.
I'm good. Nah, you can be out just like we talking about Cadillac. Cadillac should have played 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
It was great. But the game ain't fair. The game they don't pick and choose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna take advantage of anybody when he can. So I just think that guys gotta look down the road, fight for lifetime medical like the NBA.
Right.
You know, from this age, from when you're done, carry me to 65, Medicare, Medicaid, they let the government take over that.
Right.
But guys don't.
And it's a clear difference between the way that the NFL operates and the NBA operates.
Oh yeah.
It's like there's a very distinguishable difference there.
Right.
And it's like you say, so certain things, it's almost like they take care of their people just a little bit more than the NFL. I'm not sure what that's about. But with football, also the difference, in my opinion, between football and basketball is that I do think football, especially for those contact positions like you do, it creates this warrior-like spirit in you that you have to turn on to operate on the field.
Right.
Do you think that, like, running backs like you, are y'all caging some kind of beast in the inside? Like I mean, because I be thinking, like, because I know me, like, you know, I have a side where it's like, if I turn that on, it's rough to turn that off, you know? And it's like, I'm operating in society hoping don't nobody flip that switch.
Like the Incredible Hulk.
Right. Yeah.
It's controlled aggression.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
controlled
saying?
aggression.
You know, so you have so many years on it, man, and then muscle memory take over. So you can be walking around smiling polite, this
Right.
and that, You know what I'm saying? Being personable,
Right.
likable, whatever. And then some people don't.
Right.
But them assholes, I don't understand the guys that do that. I always say show love.
I just see you speak to the lady. You know, I do that too. I speak to everybody. I run into some of these high profile artists. Yeah.
It don't cost
I
nothing.
speak to the whole squad, cameramen. You know,
you never know, bro. And it's just natural. You know what I'm saying? And that's the upbringing. But some guys just assholes with it.
Yeah.
But I think as a professional athlete, you gotta understand that one, that's your job.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like any other 9 to 5, that's your job. Obviously, it's more violent, you know, and it comes with what it comes with.
Because it like Ray Rice. Remember the Ray Rice situation? It was like, it almost like for that second, of course,
snapped.
It's like boom.
Right.
It's like, oh shit, damn.
But then you couple that with liquor. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. So
You're
that
in
made it easier to break that
Nobody
seal.
don't break it down. You're in a casino, right? How many things good gonna come out of a casino situation?
Right.
One, you drinking.
Losing money.
Then you losing money. Think about what that frustration bring. I don't condone any domestic violence.
Exactly.
Right? Especially hitting on women.
Context is
You know what I'm saying? Outside of academic shit, I like, did he hit his butt? That's a different situation. Like, I don't condone none of that fuck shit.
Right.
But, you know, and I don't even want to say but, looking at the tape, we saw what happened.
Right.
Right? Couple that with what's going on with head injuries, you know, being stressed from the game. You ain't got to have no real worries in life. It could be family pulling you left and right.
Right.
The job pulling you left and right.
Right.
You could have got dinged in the head. A lot of stuff can happen. You losing in a casino, you drinking. All this stuff is a split second. Now your career done. He ain't even get a second chance.
They did X him out. They X'd him
I
out.
ain't seen Ray Rice since.
Yeah, where is Ray? Y'all, would y'all interview Ray Rice?
I would love to.
Yeah.
We ain't even really thought, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just moving.
Right.
And that's why it's called a pivot. Really, we just moving.
Right.
Like, and I know we'll probably talk about it at some point.
Into it.
But I would absolutely love to interview Ray.
Yeah.
I mean, just to get his side of everything and how that whole night sort of came to fruition.
Right.
We don't know.
Right.
You know
Because
what I'm
again, like you said, context is important.
Correct.
And also, you know, if I was to ever speak to him, just how to, you know, stripping that from you.
Mm-hmm.
They stripped that from you, man. And of course, warranted seeing the video was that explicit, right?
Right.
It looked so bad. But everyone didn't look into it. No one looked into it.
Right.
And it's like, I know that it's hard to find a reason for that to be acceptable because it's not acceptable. But I think context is important.
Right.
Like, we have to examine what is causing some of this behavior.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But we get snippets.
Exactly.
We're in an environment where we get promos.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You get snippets. You won't really, uncover the depths of situations.
Right.
So, you know, Ray, you know, anything could happen. We have guys that snap and they kill their whole family
Right.
and they commit suicide.
Right.
It's a lot of different situations out there, man. But I think that our game, one is about discipline, how you can handle that on and off the field.
Right.
That can control aggression. Because football, even though it's not as violent as it used to be when we played, it's still a violent sport.
Yes.
They're trying to find a way to commercialize it and entertain the masses so they can sustain their business model.
Right.
So that's what it comes down to. You talk about the NBA versus the NFL. It's really the business model.
Whoa, hold on. I go by Loon. All of my interviews with everyone that you love. It's available on patreon.com. It's up there, podcast ad-free, as well as the show with just me, where I talk directly to the culture. Plenty more perks. I see you there. Let's get back to the show.
You got 53 active guys on the roster versus, you know, whatever the NBA got, 12 or 15 or whatever that number is. So at the end of the day, it's about sustainability. We got to coach it and move how we move it, and then let the people, they're going to critique it, they're going to talk about this and that, but that ain't what drive revenues. That ain't what drives sponsorship, partnership, ad dollars. Them people don't care about that because it's a multi-billion-dollar business.
Right.
They know there will never be a shortage of the product. You know, we coming out the pandemic, supply and demand.
Right.
Cargo ships at sea. We
Sitting
can't
there.
get that. A lot of that shit was manipulated.
Right.
Right? to create a certain demand.
Right,
Now
right,
we're dealing
right.
with inflation. and trying to-
Right. Getting all that money back.
We got
they put
people
out there.
struggling. Yet Apple, all these other companies want to increase they, you know what I'm saying?
Subscriptions, Netflix, all that
$3,
stuff. Yeah,
$4,
yeah.
$20. Like y'all ain't struggling, the people struggling. Same thing with sports, you know what I'm saying? They gonna pay attention to they bottom, they top end, right? And they don't care about nothing else in between. But the beauty about the NFL is you got people, going back to the beginning of our conversation, we want to be there. We want to be, and we've seen that.
Right.
We want to be in that position to make these millions. We're playing a game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just like we here, we know there's millions out there for
what we're
content
doing, yeah.
and conversation.
Dream
Beautiful
job.
content.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So when guys recognize that, they're going to go all in to try to
Right.
get there.
Right.
The NFL knows there's never be a shortage of product.
Right.
In this environment, with YouTube and
They gonna find some
Spotify,
talent,
Apple, Amazon, it's conversations out there. It's never going to be a shortage of that.
Right.
How can we wrap our ads and our partners around it so we can make money?
Exactly.
And we can give them less money. We're going to get less money, but they're going to make money.
Right,
Same
right.
thing with the NFL. Same business model.
Right. And I look at the NFL and they make a lot of money. So it's really crazy when you drill those numbers down and be like, hold on, you mean for this amount of months they generate this amount of money?
Yep.
So they got everything. They hitting you with jerseys, tickets, food. Like it's so much going on, man. Like I was talking to 85 South Show, DC, and all of them, and they told me how they go to like minor league baseball games to see the structure of the business income, right? So they selling popcorn. They got shirts. Halftime they switch. They out bring these kind of shirts out. And then they got this for sale, that for sale. And it just shows you how to structure the business. Speaking of business, I know everybody's watching and they want us to get into the I am athlete situation.
Right.
Everybody that knows me know that I'm about information, right? As a young black creator moving through this space, spending his own money, and moving with an impact, it's important that I understand and learn from all of these situations with you, with all the smoke, with Joe Budden, with whoever has been through these scenarios where something has seemed to cause the train to get off track. It's important for us to digest this information. So the conversation is important. B. Marshall is my homeboy. We doing B. Marshall tomorrow. Fred Taylor's my homeboy. We doing Fred Taylor today. So we want to get into the IAA situation and what happened. Speak to me about the inception of that, and then we'll fast track to some of the business.
Right. Yeah, I was trying to leave that shit alone, bro, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like, coming into it, we said we can't shit on the people. Transparency is shit. That's at the top of anything I do. The worst thing about that whole situation is when we was over there, I call it the old show. When we was over there, it was something that the culture had never seen. And coming in the pandemic, tough times for everybody. People wanted, entertainment, information. Everybody was in the house.
Right.
And really, the worst part about that whole breakup is that the message we was sending everybody that here you have 4 black former professional athletes able to sit down in the room and have beautiful conversation, about everything.
Right.
About life. It was organic. It was evergreen. And it was real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Wasn't no bullshit. We can hit any subject matter. Police brutality, like just
y'all was hitting mental health. Y'all was really
hit
building.
everything.
Yeah.
We was running.
Special show.
We was running.
Yeah.
That was April of 2020. I remember B. Marsh coming to the crib. We stayed right around the corner from each other.
Because when I went to his house, he was telling me like, man, we stayed all over here, and I'm like, those some nice houses too.
Nah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Shout out Rose.
Yeah, Rose house over there. Yeah.
So
Champ Bailey house was over there.
Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
The Rock.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people, a lot of successful black people.
Yes, sir. Shout out to that
have been
neighborhood.
influencers too that's able to get out there. You ain't getting out there unless you got at least 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Better.
Yeah. So
Shit crazy. But yeah, just to really go back, man, he drove his golf cart over like early April during the pandemic, hopped out, and we talked right in front of the garage, man. I remember like it just happened. And he was like, yo, bro, what you think about podcasting? I said, shit, man, anything to get out of the house. But before we do anything, shit, I like ownership. I like production. And we just talked about ownership. That was me and B conversation.
right.
And we went from there to shooting a podcast. It was B, Channing, Reggie Wayne, who coaches with the Colts now, and myself. We didn't even have like a specific agenda other than conversation about sports. The state of sports, the state of the pandemic, it was the NBA bubble, all that different stuff. So we just out there just freestyling. And then, Christina, which was B's she was the protege. She was like the creative director, the camera person. She's real brilliant. And Christina was like, it should be more of a lifestyle situation.
Right.
So she came up with a concept, which is what we do now on the pivot.
Yeah.
So that situation turned into Reggie. Then we had a conversation in June of.
So at this point, is you, B. Marshall, Reggie,
right,
and who
Channing.
else? Channing. Okay,
Right.
so 4 people.
Just four
at the
four of us.
inception, right?
In the inception. So we having a conversation about in June, because that was in April. We ran like, oh, this might get some legs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shit, let's talk about the business side. Because first it was just a thought and an idea, it was nothing else.
Right.
And let's talk about the business side. B sent the 1 page. B sent the 1 page offer, one agreement, one sheet.
Right.
And he said, all right, this is the breakdown. We can all get in for ownership 25%, equally 25% each.
Ownership of the podcast.
Or the podcast only.
Right.
All right. But it wasn't an equity play. But that's ownership. So that's where it got tricky from the start.
So it wasn't
an
an equity
rev share.
It was a partnership.
It was a rev
See, this
share.
is a conversation that the young creators need to understand: partnership versus ownership.
Exactly. But again, going back to what I said a second ago, my conversation
Was ownership.
Ownership. That's production company. That's whatever that came into play. I'm willing to go dollar for dollar. However you want to break it down, let's do that. I just need you to provide transparently the information. Like you like,
right.
Show me the information.
Right.
Like whatever the breakdown is, let's chop, let's go.
Right.
And that never happened. You know what I'm saying? That never happened.
So you never was shown a breakdown.
I'm gonna get into it.
Okay.
That never happened. Right. So we get the 1 sheet and Reggie like, nah, this shit ain't adding up.
So Reggie was the first person.
Reggie was like, this ain't adding up.
What was he speaking
And
to
then
when he said?
just the 1 sheet, it was all rev share.
Oh,
Like,
so
we
he
can put the same amount of money into it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to misquote. It was like 37.5. The only thing that happened at that time from April to June 2020 was equipment was purchased. And then the expenses to produce for production. And we just had a minimal production team at the time, which was sufficient, right? But it wasn't what we grew into. You know what I'm saying? So, and then those people were Brandon's employees. So he was paying them, you know what I'm saying, alongside paying production. So they weren't getting the max benefit at the end of the day. So they just was cool with being a part of the team. So it came back out 37.5 a piece.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
And that was the initial investment.
That was the initial
for the
investment
podcast.
For rev share, not for ownership, for rev
See,
share.
I see
That's
you
where
keep
the
going to that
fuckery
because
came
that's
from.
where you keep on, that's
Rev
where you
share
hung up
and
at.
equity, that ain't the same.
Partnership versus
You know what I'm
ownership.
saying? Versus ownership. So Reg was like, nah, I'm good. Reg went out to Indy to sell a house. And then when he got back, he didn't know he was part of the podcast deal. B cut him off. Like, that's a wrap. And then he introduced Ocho. So me, I'm on the side. Like, I got my agenda. I'm still getting my talent fee. I'm down for whatever ownership that I'm down for. I ain't put a 37.5 in because I knew the difference in equity, ownership, and partnership. I'm like, B, whenever you're ready, let me know the numbers, the real numbers, and I'm gonna meet you halfway.
For the ownership.
For the ownership.
So
that's it.
So, because that's what was one of my questions was going to be to you is why didn't you put the initial investment? Because it'll be a different conversation.
It'll be a totally different conversation. I'm waiting on the numbers. I'm waiting on the black and white. Show me what you put in. Show me.
So if he was able to show you,
show me your statement,
right.
dog. But because of the relationship I thought we had, like that was my mistake. Cause I'm fucking with B like I'm fucking with Plexico, or my homeboy Scoop J,
right,
or my partner Rennie, or my dog Rat.
Right.
I'm fucking with B like that just because I'm looking at his face and saying, okay, I believe you come from what I come from. You stand for what I stand for. You of the culture. I hear what you're saying by ownership. So I took it as that. I didn't think his face was gonna be dirty, and I kept telling B, and I showed you, keep your face clean, bruh. Like if we come into this is what it is. That's what it is. My track record, clean as fuck.
Right.
If we say we got 100K to it, whether it flop, I'm gonna give you that bread.
So
and that's what I got questioned on.
Right.
If it would have flopped for
that's my question. If it would have flopped,
any nigga in Miami around this bitch,
yeah,
niggas in the hood right here, Overtown,
yeah,
Liberty City down there,
yeah,
Sunday night 61st, them people know I'm good.
Yeah,
way back.
So if it would have flopped and $1 million need to be done, you agreed to that. You would have sent that.
That is gonna run it. I'm gonna run it. That's just my face. Niggas know what time
right.
it is. B come back and say, well, if I, that's his defense mechanism. And I ain't shooting at him. Like I said, I didn't even really want to talk about it.
Right.
But because I've been questioned on it, I got to talk about it.
Right.
But transparency is everything, right? So,
and it's information in this. I want people to understand.
Right.
Yeah.
So really the big information is button your shit up before you even make a move.
Right.
Handle the business.
Now, I also heard you say the $11 million number.
That's bullshit.
Explain that to me.
Do with me.
So
B, listen, I'm going to get there, right? So I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get back to it. Going back to the equity,
right?
B.
So let's take it back to Reggie.
B fired Reggie.
Okay.
Basically, right? It was like I'm gonna bring Ocho on. It was a good look because we know what
Ocho was a brand. Yeah.
That was a great. It was a good move because Reggie was hesitant and was kind of indecisive, but he peeped the shit first. We always go back. Now we should have paid attention to what Reggie was saying. You know what I'm saying?
So what did Reggie say? What was he? So
Reggie said these numbers ain't breaking down, right?
The partnership and ownership thing.
He said it was partnership, ownership. The numbers ain't breaking down,
right?
But me, I'm like, all right, Brandon can't be that much of a savage or that much of a.
So you stuck around.
He ain't gonna be that much of a fuck nigga. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna try us. So we kept running with it, and it was a good thing. You know what I'm saying? So I bet we gonna figure it out. Chad come. I said, all right, that's a good look, you know. And then I didn't understand what the deal him and Chad had on the back end until I got the paper. So the one sheet that I was finna bring up, the one sheet upstairs.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah,
I left it in the car. Yes, necessary. So I saw the breakdown, but Chad doing a million things. Chad ain't even focused on the business. Chad doing Chad thing, running.
Yeah, he got a big bird.
He taking his talent fee. I deferred my talent fee for sweat equity into the company.
That's where it gets slippery for me.
I said, look, my money running alongside whatever money you put in it be, my money start from inception, right alongside it. And then whatever else you need, just let me know the number. I'll pay the difference. Because I understand that.
Yeah. And
I understand that.
That's what, from a business perspective and an information perspective, like when I hear this whole I am athlete thing happening, and I say, okay, I continue to hear something about Fred talking ownership.
Right.
He
can't deny that.
That's important. He's never denied that either. He's never tried to say that, he ain't never said nothing. He's always said that what he more so is saying is that by the time you were ready to invest, the business looked different than it did at the initial start.
I was always ready to invest. From June of 2020.
was there a conversation had about the partnership ownership saying, hey man, you know, Reggie just left about these numbers. So I need for you to button that up and my money's on the way.
This is the conversation about partnership ownership, equity versus
Participation.
partnership and rev sharing.
Right.
And his attorney can attest to this. Essay was his attorney. Essay know the answer. And she say she talked to me, and I hate to drag her in this because she's smart, you know, she's black, successful attorney, you know what I'm saying? And she did anything for B. But she was outed too. Like a lot of, you don't see none of the same people around B. That's fucked up. That's important, right? But she was his attorney, right hand, right here.
Yeah.
Whatever move was made, right here. Even when I came into the building, the paper showed March of 2021. She fought for B. But they said my shit was worth 4%, right? That's what they tried to give me, 4% of everything, right? My influence, everything.
4% of the podcast or the HOA brand.
No. Was never, HOA was never.
4% of the podcast.
HOA was never involved in nothing.
So
that's where the 11 million come from.
Right.
He said he put 11 million in it. That's House of Athlete and the money.
And I can understand that. I can understand.
The podcast wasn't even discussed as a marketing arm for his gym.
Right.
That shit came into it when he saw the beauty of the podcast. And we was like, that don't involve us. That's when me and Channing got lost. Like,
so did the gym.
Chad never cared about that. So that didn't involve us. So the gym had some, we didn't get any split or none of the gym revenue, profit, nothing the gym was doing benefited us. The podcast benefited the gym because more players and more athletes going to see us from the podcast space. They're going to say, damn, I got to go fuck with the gym.
Now, is there an issue with that?
Whoa, hold on. I go by loan. All of my interviews with everyone that you love. It's available on patreon.com. It's up there, podcast ad-free, as well as the show with just me, where I talk directly to the culture. Plenty more perks. I see you there. Let's get back to the show.
Is there issue with you? Because in business, like you guys are doing now, you're using the pivot to not only get other guests based on the guests you have, but to get brand deals, to kind of pivot, right? And so is there an issue with using the podcast kind of to get more eyeballs on HOA?
It became that because the presentation. We talked at the beginning of this, presentation is everything. How do you format thing? The podcast and the gym was always separate. You feel me? So if we talking ownership into the podcast, and I didn't mind putting eyes on the gym, bruh, that's your situation. I'm gonna help you run that. I always spoke high.
It's like if you got a shirt for sale. If you got a, it's like
T in Nashville. I'm gonna wear his shit.
That's what I'm saying.
I could have wore Pivot.
And that's my guy, T. Shout out T.
You know what I'm saying? I could have wore anything. Wear your shit, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I always show love before I show love to my shit. So I spoke highly of HOA, knowing I wasn't getting a cut. But when it became more about HOA and selling overpriced hoodies, I said, hold on, bruh. This shit ain't adding up. I ain't getting nothing.
When did you make the decision? Was it when Reggie Wayne left?
Nah. Because I trusted that B was gonna look at everything, you know, broadly. And I kept requesting hard numbers. The one sheet that I got downstairs in the car, it was from March 11th of 2021. By that time, we started in April of 2020. We didn't have our first money talks until June of 2020. March of 2021, they provided a one sheet. Right there on the one sheet, it shows where I had accrued $51,000 in sweat equity through talent fee.
Okay.
Right?
So that's $50K they supposed to went back into the company, whatever that's worth.
Bingo.
Whatever that.
And even at that time, and I screenshot it, like if people, whatever. At that time, B put $100K in it.
So your 50K versus 100K.
Right. But you got to take 30% out because that's what he gave the producer who's on the pivot now, AZ. That's what she gave AZ's company. That's what he gave AZ's company to produce IAA. He gave her 30% of the nut off the rip.
So you said he didn't have 100%. He had 70 to work with.
So he had 70 to work with, right?
And that's the lady you was just talking about to help get the media shit up.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if he got 70, right? He had less than 70 because he gave the attorney who I was just talking about. I found this out in that same meeting that day when I got the one sheet. She had 10%.
So then
really,
he's down.
He operated with 60. So I got a third. If he put 100 and I had 50 sweat, that's a third of 60. So if I show you the sheet, it said 4.39%. That don't look like 20%.
Did they tell you how they come up with it?
Right?
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah. It's
so
close.
That's my situation. I can't speak for Chan.
And see, that's why I say
for nobody else.
Shout out to everybody else.
Chan took his paper.
Exactly.
Chan ain't invest money. Chan took his paper, but Chan got a different situation because he got creative with. He wanted to do a radio show, which is what Channing come from, right? Chan was doing a 5-day-a-week radio show, making 6 figures. B wanted to implement that under the I Am Athlete brand.
Right.
I Am Athlete at night, what they got going now.
Right.
And the reason I hate talking about it because that's free promo for them.
But it's information in it. It's game
information.
You know
right?
what I'm saying? This is bigger than me, you, B Marshall, Pivot, I Am Athlete. This is the culture. This for us to learn from. Y'all are a bunch of black millionaire niggas that went and got money from football that all of us look like, damn, we know they learned business through football.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So how do they get there and then that happen? So this is bigger than any one person.
A lot of the problem is, truthfully, I think that if we teaching is that trust. You got trust and transparency. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't just trust you if you're not let me see everything. Uncover all that shit. Black and white, ain't no gray, right? And that was the first mistake. When you trust, you can out-leverage yourself. Just be transparent. That's where the leverage comes from. That didn't happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So with the show, with the Channing show, you see B Marshall again
But he had $1 million deal from Sirius.
For that show?
For the radio part of it.
Right.
Right. He offered 10, and I hope 10 all right with it. He offered 10 $300K out of the ticket. And Chan doing all the work 5 days a week. That was gonna be really Channing's show. What's the breakdown? What's the fucking breakdown? So that's my issue. That's why Channing jumped ship. Channing been doing a radio show for 10 plus years with his company. All he got was a $25,000 raise for uncertainty. Some shit that we winging on a prayer. You feel me? So how you expect that man to leave his shit where he been good for 10 years to go over here for something that ain't no, where's the sustainability? And all you giving is a $25,000 raise. Now, if it's the bust down after taxes, you got $750K to work with, you know what I'm saying, once you pay Uncle Sam.
Right.
$700K. Right. To work with once you pay Uncle Sam.
Right.
Why y'all can go $350? Ain't no expenses. You got the shit set up, you know what I'm saying? You got the camera set up, you in a stationary spot. You go cut, edit, the shit a bust down, maybe $50K for the year to expense the editing. It ain't even a big ticket. So give him the top end, you get the broker fee for having that relationship with Sirius, and that's solid. That's the fucking problem. You know what I'm saying?
he was more so trying to be like, I'm producer of this show versus this is your show already.
If he was the producer, just like a lot of stuff he's doing right now, right? A lot of shit he's doing right now came from our producer. With I Am NASCAR, with all of that shit, it came from our producer. She had the relationship. How you think her 30% came into play that she got X'd out about? And I ain't gonna get into her personal business because she got some shit going on, but a lot of stuff with the touring, the roadmap. Every company got to have a roadmap, right? Even you know us.
Yes.
We got to have outlooks and projections,
100%.
Right? People say, "Well, y'all ain't touring yet." When you're like year one, that wasn't in the plan.
Exactly.
The tour, we'll get to it, but that wasn't in the plans. But he had his run where he said they gonna copy this too. That was funny.
Yeah,
But that came from. Where do you think that came from? It was a roadmap created from my people when we was together over there.
To be on tour at this time, around this time.
Correct. So what they try to do is get out in front of us and then make it look like they did it first. But from the training camp show to all these other different shows, that was her creative thought. Now B is creative.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him his credit.
Yeah, he's creative.
The entrepreneur spirit in him is his biggest flaw, right?
Explain
because
that.
You have to understand people, right? If you want to be an entrepreneur, there's a couple of different ways to go by it. You can shit on people, which has pretty much been this method, or you can cultivate and develop those relationships or partnerships to inspire people to go harder for you. That's my approach. I'm gonna align with people where I can just talk to them to try to motivate them to go get it for all of us, right? Or I can shit on them and say, you know what? Y'all work for me.
But okay, so let me ask you this.
But they ain't really a boss, man. You look at Rose. Rose line everybody up.
That's sure, for sure.
I'm the biggest boss. I'm a line everybody
Because in this game, there's a lot of talking. You know, people do a lot of talking, but
that's the
put
problem.
people in position.
You got to put people in position.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to what we just talked about. If you start with a group, I understand his mentality is, and I've heard it. I got shit on the phone that speak to it. He said you wanna hire slow and fire fast, or hire fast, whatever the fuck he say, bro. Hire slow, fire fast is what he said.
What does that mean?
He want to vet the people he bringing in, and then fire them when they're not in line with his vision. Like, it's crazy that I got a lot of shit. People that was fucking with him over there would just send us stuff we wouldn't even ask for. People we sustain relationships with would say, man, this dude tripping. That's the narcissist in him. But
So
I ain't gonna beat him up on here, but I'm gonna speak my truth.
Yeah,
I done seen it all.
And I speak to him tomorrow, so he gonna
nobody you
speak.
can ever really go talk to say I'm fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Nobody.
Let me ask you this. What is it worth to come up with that idea and pull up on you on the golf cart? What if in your mind, what is that worth right there? That initial of the company. So if I bring you the idea, right? Pulling over there in my golf, not if that's 100% in your mind, that's because I'm gonna ask him the same exact question.
Right.
Right? What is it worth to create that idea and initiate that process? What in your mind is that worth? Outside of talent, outside of production fee, outside of production percentage, just that piece of it, that one piece.
Bro, we don't come from money, but we made a lot of money.
Right.
So we know what that's like. I done got fucked over by agents and financial advisors. So I done figure out how to move through that.
Right.
At the end of the day, all that shit come down to integrity. What your face look like. If I say I fuck with you, I fuck with you.
Right.
If I can't fuck with you, like if I can't fuck with you on some joke shit, on some fuck around shit, then I ain't fucking with you.
Right.
I know our space.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So really when he pulled up, I took that as he valued me because he came to me. You know what I'm saying? He could have went to anybody
Exactly.
else, but he valued me.
Exactly.
So in response to that, I'm gonna give you that same love in return. I ain't fucking around. Like, what you thought of me is what I'm gonna think of you. And that's our leverage, right? That's the distance between us. Ain't no amount of money. We gonna run this shit out. And that's just how I always been. But when shit got to a point where, you know, when you're narcissistic, right? And that's how you operate. And when you can talk down on people, I mean, from just walking in the building one day and not really feeling up to it and saying, fuck it. 1, 2, 3, y'all fired, y'all out of here. This is real life. This ain't me in his situation. This is everything. You know what I'm saying? And I can even go a step further, but you'll talk to him. You know what I'm saying? And whatever y'all talk about, that's what y'all talk about.
Right.
But from you trying to get out in front of everything and make us look like shit, really, it's so much exposure that a nigga can bring to you, bro, that I almost feel like the motherfucking feds if I did it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot.
And that ain't my space.
Yeah.
Like the employees can talk to it. The people you've been in partnership can talk to it. It's really easy if people want to take the time and just fucking look around.
Right.
Who's still there? You know what I'm saying? I fuck with Pac-Man, heavy.
Pac-Man.
I've always fucked with Shady, heavy. But then they got involved.
I fuck with all. Would you sit down with B?
Nah, it's too
Past that.
Yeah, it's past that. And I hear people talk about what y'all was doing for the culture. I get it. We still can do that for the culture, like me, Ryan, and Chan. I understand what their vulnerability is. I understand their integrity and what they're about. You know, where they come from. Them good dudes, they solid.
Right.
Ain't nobody trying to fuck nobody. Let's figure this out. You know what I'm saying?
But see, y'all
we
came
did
in,
that beforehand. But we learned from these mistakes.
Exactly.
We learned from the mistakes.
Yeah. And y'all also came in knowing that there's a pot here. There's something here.
That's true.
Y'all didn't know that.
We didn't know that with me.
Yeah.
But that's the rope that you give each other.
Right.
Like you can hang me or I can hang you.
Right.
You can,
it's trust
you know
there.
what I'm saying? That's a trust, right?
Yeah.
So that ain't happen. And really,
I'm trying to figure out where
really
that
the
4% come from.
It's fucked up. It comes from fuckery.
Like what? How, you know?
Hey,
is that a talent? So based on the talent, is
I'll
that
send you? I'll take a picture, bruh, and send it back to you. And look.
I'm gonna ask him that. I'm gonna ask him where that 4% number comes.
The math fucked up. I've been chilling. I ain't really care about, the message he delivered. When it started hitting close to me, hitting close to the house, I started questioning his real integrity, and he say he played chess, not checkers, and he did a lot of other shit that ain't a lot of people wouldn't do. You know what I'm saying? I understand business. You have your business disagreement. I get it. But when you run it onto the personal side of things,
that's slippery.
That's when it gets slippery.
Yeah.
But he would always say, this ain't business for me. This is personal. That's how hard I believe in doing what I'm doing. But that's the first mistake. If you try to grow your business, your gym, the podcast, however that come with the merch, with this, that, and that, that's still business. That ain't personal.
But I gotta push back.
I gotta differentiate between the two.
I gotta push back a little bit because we just spoke about that competitive nature that especially like you had when you went on the field, where you would that competitiveness can lend itself to some personal, like almost like it's personal.
When you play football, right, in the pros, you knew that if the team meeting started at 8:00, you were gonna be there. If you was there at 8:05, you knew what consequences come with that, for sure. Same with competition.
Right.
This is the outcome if I step outside the box when I'm competing.
Right.
I'm gonna try this nigga and see what response I get.
And you can't control what response you get.
You can't control that, but you can control if you're gonna try that.
Exactly. Exactly.
So that's what I believe it came down to.
So let's bag it up. So Reggie Wayne leaves. You recognize then that, damn, Reggie peeping something, but I'm gonna stay around.
It was really
see.
Channing said Reggie been called that shit out. Channing always say that to this day. You know what I'm saying? Channing say that, man, Reggie been said that shit. And me having some history with B, being neighbors with B, but we live, man, we live probably about 600 yards from each other. You just
close.
Left, right,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
So now, knowing what he was going through, knowing my homeboy that was affiliated with him, you know what I'm saying? I knowing he was younger than me, I gave him a pass, and I gave him you know, I gave him the right of first refusal. Like, I'm going to trust you to this extent.
Yeah.
But like I said, when he came to the crib, I felt like he valued me as the big dog.
Yeah.
As the big homie.
Yes.
So I said, I'm going to fuck with him. You know, out of trust. You know, it's B. I just need, let's talk about ownership. Ownership in the production company. How that look. You know what I'm saying?
And you said your money was there ready. What about the
my
meeting?
money was always there alongside the sweat. Cause
Right.
the sweat, whatever the money was, the sweat was already in the bag. Cause I ain't never take no check.
And that's what gets slippery for me.
But
Man.
I feel you. So
That's why I can't.
If we really start talking about money in June of 2020, I got documentation. That's when we start. They sent two sheet. We started talking about it, but it was all rev sharing, right? Talk about Netflix, Amazon, and if they sell it, everything was on that sheet, but it was all rev sharing and merchandise, 50-50, all that.
Right.
So if we talking then about that, I feel like we could talk about anything.
Right.
Right. And my whole thing from June to June was show me solid numbers. The response was, I can't. And even on the sheet I got downstairs, that one sheet projection, 2021 projection, it had projections. Talk about projected sponsorship.
Right.
You know, everybody that was involved. And but I could never get no solid.
There was no number on it?
Because of the shit I had went through in my career and investments, I said, no, I need transparency. I need full disclosure and transparency, black and white. Show me the numbers, bro. All that other shit don't matter. Don't show me no future projections. Mm-hmm. Show me a motherfucking P&L. This is the profit. This is the loss. This is what's assets to us, and these are the liabilities and expenses. Break that down. Let's come with a startup valuation. Whatever multiple it is, let's get to that number, and I'm going to run with you. I told him that.
Yeah, he be saying it.
I told him
So
that.
how did the meeting that he says you missed, what happened with the missed meeting?
My grandmother raised me with 5 siblings in the house. My mom had me at 16. I was the oldest of 5 that eventually got to 7. Even that evolved into my playing days. It was always team first. I probably gave away 30, 40 touchdowns.
How important is the Hall of Fame to you?
Everybody been asking where Fred and Chan.
Right.
If we told anybody we was plotting to do another show, that would have got out back to him. We knew what he was capable of. And it was a hard decision because I still was stuck between, do I run this? Do I sit back and be unhappy?
Were y'all panicking? Did y'all try to take his show when y'all left?
He didn't even own the show.
He didn't own the show?
I get a lot of questions about why black people can't do business. It was a lot of
Please hold.
going on behind the scenes. When I left, I said, man, go kill that. But then once I started getting the text messages about my house.
10 years from now, do you see I Am Athlete and Pivot doing anything?
It's a real pivot. Sometimes we don't even know we got to guess until the day before. He tried to say we shitted on him with Mike Tyson and Caitlyn Jenner.
Do you think they should stand with Kyrie or should they speak out against Kyrie?
What do you call when you discriminate against black people? It's called racism.
Exactly.
And then when you do it against Jews based on their history, let me say this, the best timing in the world is God's timing.
What happened with the missed meeting?
We had just did a show. Everybody in that big, while we had just did a show, I believe it was the D Wade show, if I'm not mistaken. I see him and the attorney I would talk about outside in the parking lot. We all been feeling good. We drinking, you know what I'm saying? For those who smoking. They say, all right, we're gonna meet tomorrow at this time. All right, bet. I go to the crib, they disperse, and I didn't set my clock. So honestly, I missed the meeting, right? But that's not a cause to not talk about the business.
Did y'all re-up the meeting or?
I say, let's meet again. That meeting never happened. To this day, that meeting, well, you missed the meeting. You know, and the attorney, She's like, yeah, she was his bulldog. Like I said, she was his bulldog then. I don't know the status now, but she was his bulldog then. Like, yeah, we had a meeting. You could have met. I was like, well, y'all ain't really give her a solid time. Y'all said we gonna meet tomorrow. You know, so then I wake up to a text, oh, we supposed to meet this time. Well, shit, that ain't happen. That don't mean we can't meet. We still could talk. We in the
So
age
after that, what?
Zoom right here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is Zoom.
Yeah.
Like, we could do it right now, 20, 30 minutes. All we talking about is the numbers.
Yeah.
We talking about transparency more from your end than my end. Like, what's the deals that's coming? What's the sponsorships that potentially are on the table? What's next? And let's find a common ground. So if it is an investment that I got to do, I'll make that investment. That it never came back to that.
Let me ask you this.
So, that's my fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? On that part.
Right.
That's my fuck up.
Yeah.
But that comes from trust and lack of transparency. So really going back into it and giving back, that's the business model that I think anybody that's stepping out here in any type of business with friends, family, coworkers, anybody, button up the paperwork first. And that's what we did with the pivot, me, Ryan, and Chan.
We're going to get it. I want to talk about the
and our in-house attorney.
Yeah.
We button up everything before we cut an episode.
Yeah, so y'all business in line. But see, it's easier the second time because you know that, oh, man, there's money in that. We saw what B was doing. We saw that there's money coming in. And also we've built our brands up in this market. Right. So we have some market share. So we know money's coming. And that first time, it was just like it was an experiment. Yeah. Right. Let me ask you this. Some of the biggest companies in the world, like Uber, and some of the people that's wealthy from those only own 2%, 3%, 4%. My question to you is this about percentage or money? So say that 4% was worth $200 million. Would you be okay with that?
The 4% wasn't worth what it was supposed to be.
So it's just it was not worth.
When you bust it down, it comes back to one, integrity, and the relationship that I thought we had. I'm a firm believer in relationships. I learned that late in my career. And not even, you know how they say, it's about the people you know. I hear that. That's true to an extent. But me more so, because of who I am and how I operate, I believe the total opposite is about who knows you, right? You know me.
Right.
Right? So you can go anywhere and say, if you hear of an opportunity or anything that might be going on, I got the perfect person for you.
For sure.
Now, if I know somebody, I might not be able to get to that opportunity, right? But if you know me, you're gonna pitch me, right? So understanding that, B knew what I was about. He knew who I was. But for him to say, nah, you're not valued at what me, Fred, initially thought. He thought of me when he came to the crib. For him to say that, I'm like, that's a slap in the face. That's real fucked up.
Yeah.
So I involve integrity more than money. I done made money. I can sustain the way I live by the money.
And that's what fucks us up. Like as the young niggas coming up in the industry and the game, is like we know all y'all done made money.
Right.
So we know it can't be just a money thing. It gotta be something behind this that we are trying to figure out, like, what the hell is going on. I heard Channing say, because like we say, his situation is a little different because of the talent fee.
Right.
It's been a consistent statement that you've always wanted ownership, and that's where I'm trying to figure out how we got lost in not getting that ironed out somewhere. But I heard Channing say on a podcast that he wants to know what you make, and then he'll tell you basically about how much he's worth, or based on what you make is how he finds his value. Right. Now, my understanding of business is that there is a way to find your value, but no company's gonna do that. Like the NFL ain't gonna tell you what the wide receiver makes them. They'll tell you what the wide receiver is worth. But how you get to know what the wide receiver is worth is not by going to that company saying, show me the numbers. It's saying, oh, y'all paid him that. He got this amount of yards. He had this amount. So basically, I'm like right? So there's a formula.
Right.
How do you know how to access your value in these kind of situations? Like, what is my true value?
I'm gonna go back to that statement Chan made. I think I seen the same podcast.
Right.
And he speak to it. Really what Chan was saying was we came in this shit together. It should have been a certain split, right? Chan know what he brought to the table. Just like even on the pivot. Chan really, in my eyes and in RC's eyes, Chan is the star of the show.
He always going viral. And shit.
Chan gonna go viral, but that's naturally
for
Chan.
sure, right?
He ain't trying to create no bullshit. Like that's just naturally him, right? So when you talk about value, and when you look at the old show, I get it. Yeah, one who had a creative thought and said, "I want to put this into play." But when we started, it was a bust down. He did give everybody an opportunity to invest. I said.
And that's where it's blurry on his side. See, I tell you what I believe. I believe it's blurry on his side because he did give that opportunity.
That's the only thing he can stand on. But then he took that and fucked over it because he saw a bigger picture. When the show started becoming successful, I need to do this to promote my gym so my gym can be successful. With the merch, that whole rundown. Because at the beginning, it wasn't that, right? We didn't know what the podcast was going to do.
Right.
We knew podcasting was a thing, but we didn't know what it was
exactly what it was going to do.
We just having conversations in the middle of the pandemic.
Exactly.
But our conversation was here like, this shit got traction. Run with it.
Right.
Now I can use this to market the gym.
Right.
Because it was about, if you, on your podcast, if you selling merch or whatever, you get X amount of you can put your website and all that in the front of your YouTube page.
Right.
It wasn't I'mAthletePodcast.com. It was House of Athlete, where you click the button, you're going to buy merchandise. You weren't going to talk about the podcast. So if you click pivotpodcast.com.
Were y'all participating in merch?
It was 50-50, but the podcast merch, not House of Athlete merch. So when you find out, like, all right, bro, you're not even trying to maximize the podcast. This shit look like you trying to grow your gym. We say, nah, we ain't sign up for that. And it
when did y'all make the decision?
Numerous amounts of time that we said, bro, integrate the podcast into the fucking YouTube, which is where we got the notoriety and the
where you can get those clips and merch sales
then,
and stuff like
once
that.
Once you click into the podcast, you send that to a website, that e-commerce, you got an e-commerce, you got a breakdown, you got each guy. If you're paying $1,500, $2,500 in talent fee based on a different guy, then to take some of the weight off your shoulder, when you go into the merch page, into the podcast website, you got Channing, Fred, Brandon, Ocho. You click on Fred.
That's his shit.
That's
merch,
my shit.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Merch from the show, my quotes, my this, my that,
yeah.
my history,
so
my rundown.
So you brand us.
My booking.
Yeah.
That way it takes exposure.
Right.
It takes liability off of the podcast.
And granted, he was new. He was new.
Nah.
You don't give him that.
We talked about this shit.
Oh, okay.
We
So that's a
talked
different
about
thing. Yeah.
That's what greed do. It's the gym. I'm gonna set it up where you click the website. We going back to the gym. We selling you memberships and merchandise for my gym. We ain't participating in that.
Right.
So when we said that, we was like, nah.
Right.
So fast forward, we started season 3 in like August of 2021.
How many episodes in before y'all?
We did a couple, but when we started, I was like, some don't sit right with me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna run it because now they talking about Hall of Fame exposure.
And you want your face card just.
So I'm taking advantage of the cards I'm dealt.
Right.
Which I recommend for anybody in life. Take advantage of the hand you dealt.
Right.
All that other shit, sometimes you gotta swallow your pride.
Yeah, emotions got to be thrown away.
The Kanye shit.
Yeah.
You gonna fumble $1 billion bag and run out here confused.
Right.
Like if you got an agenda, be that and stick to it. But when you confused, the shit don't add up. Like, understand it first, then make your move. I always tell the people, don't quit no job if you ain't got no plan.
Nah.
Like, you know, I heard you say, have a plan.
Yeah, don't plan. I ain't telling nobody to plan to quit your job, or I ain't telling nobody to quit your job without a plan. I'm telling you to plan to quit your job.
And you got to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just run out there naked.
Right.
And but that's a whole different conversation
Right.
too. So really, just going back to us, man.
So season 3, y'all did a couple episodes. You said someone sitting right with you.
The shit wasn't sitting right because a lot of the people that was there, not there now. We got new production.
And I'm gonna tell you,
It
that
ain't
big
going that
room y'all
smooth.
was in with the screen and all that shit looked good, and I tried to book that space. That shit was hot.
It was a lot of pro bono, you know, return to favor spaces and opportunities.
See,
we
people
got.
don't know that though.
You know what I'm saying? So after a while, people like, nah, we're not fucking with that. But B, he's a visualist. You know, he's a visionary, and he has big, big, big dreams.
Yeah.
But reality don't always match with that. You got to take it slow in business.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You got to calculate your expenses and your costs and what your margins are. And I haven't read all those fucking entrepreneur books like he has. I don't claim to be that, but I do understand a lot of it. You know what I'm saying? The basic 101 of it. But that was his vision. And it didn't align with everybody else.
Right.
So in season 3, I'm sitting back like, it was the Styles P episode, as a matter of fact, right here, right around the corner. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm good, bro. Like, then we called a meeting with me, Chad, Ocho was back in town, Brandon and Chan. And we sat down, and B was really on a lot of the same shit he was on. And after that meeting, me and Chan stepped to the side because we knew Ocho was moving 1,000 miles an hour. Yeah. He do a million things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he wasn't caring about the business. He was getting paid and kept it moving.
Right.
So me and Chan was like, bruh, what's up? He's like, man, I ain't doing that radio shit. That nigga think I'm an employee. I said, I feel you. And we had a meeting. We ended up calling our old producer from I'm Athlete. And
she was already gone.
She was gone.
Okay.
Yeah, she had to be gone because B fucked over her quick. He fucked over her real quick. And we hit her like, yo, this is what we thinking. And we all came to it. Who could be the third and the fourth? Because we wanted to keep the same format.
Right.
And immediately I thought of Darius Butler, who's great with ESPN and what he's solid. Down here in Florida, we was trying to figure out the same format with 4 people, lifestyle, organic conversation. And then we did Ryan Clark for the D-Wade episode that Chad wasn't there. Like, oh damn, Ryan's good.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Ryan,
he's a beast.
Good.
Yeah. So
it was like, all right, let's get on the phone with Ryan. So Chan and Ryan talked before me and RC even talked. And Ryan was like, yeah, I love it, you know what I'm saying? Run it, you know what I'm saying? I figured it out with my ESPN schedule, but hell yeah. So RC was on board, and then we all had a conversation over breakfast and the phone call. RC was gone, so we all had a conversation.
Now are y'all still recording with B while this conversation, or y'all have already left?
No.
Did y'all leave without knowing y'all was going to do the pivot?
No, what happened was, it was a lot of fuckery going on behind the scenes. He had a obligation to I Am NASCAR and the NASCAR people, right? He was like, and there was a couple episodes where it's like, oh, we don't need you to fly in. I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting back like, damn, okay. But this, y'all was supposed to pay me for XYZ. Y'all don't need me for this. What's going on? So I was sitting back peeping game. Channing would go, but they got me sitting back. I'm like, okay, all right.
So is that money you miss out on?
That money I miss out on. Because now we talking talent fee, which was increased for that season, but talent fee that went towards equity. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm missing out on that, right?
That wash. Yeah.
So yeah. So the shit is a lot deeper than even what I feel to talk about. But a lot of people got fucked over. So all that shit happened. So me and Chan started figuring our shit out, but we were zip, we were quiet. And then we just got to a point, say, let's drop our promo, what we gonna name, we talk, what we gonna name the show. We talked for about 2 days on the name. I said, man, shit, we gonna pivot. I came up with the name, let's name it The Pivot. We all agreed to it. Went and got the trademark on it.
Yeah.
Got the LLC together. We got that LLC name, got a trademark. Then we turned around and created another LLC as a blanket between me, Ryan, and Channing. So The Pivot
is owned by that LLC.
Right. The Pivot pays our entity distributions, and then from there we take our own individual distribution based on our percentage of ownership.
That's hard.
So we got a 5-man team. We got an in-house attorney, we got a producer who has ownership, and then us 3. So all of us, we own our own pro rata nut in the company.
That's hard.
Right? So
that's
it's
hard.
a bust now. So that before we even cut a show.
Yeah.
So that's what I suggest we talk information.
Yes, sir.
That's what everybody else needs to make sure. No matter what, y'all in love with each other, because marriages, we know what happened with marriages.
Sure.
Y'all can love each other, them contracts. Marriage is a contract.
The biggest one you can sign.
Contract up, divorce is a lawsuit.
That's deep.
People don't know that divorce is a lawsuit.
That's deep.
When you file for a divorce in the court of law, that shit is public.
That's deep.
Like any other lawsuit.
That's
You
deep.
feel me? So people say, oh, they getting divorced. Y'all broke the contract.
Yes, sir.
And the contract was
That's
only
deep.
implemented. We want to bring religion behind it.
Right.
And I get it. Right. But how did that get in? How did religion even get in place?
Right. Church and state. How did
Take
that
it
even
to another level?
Yeah.
But they say church and state not supposed to be.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm
How
saying?
did that even mix up?
But the government gonna allow it because they allow what they want to allow.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So going back to the contract, when you break that contract, now it's somebody getting sued. That's what divorce is, a lawsuit.
Right.
So in our shit, I would suggest that anybody have their papers together because it might come to that.
Yeah.
But if your paperwork good, the court is gonna decide.
Let me ask you this.
No matter the case.
When y'all left, I'm pretty sure y'all were upset. Did y'all try to take his show when y'all left?
We ain't try to take his show. He ain't even own the show.
He didn't own the show?
Bruh. This shit crazy, man. He still don't own the whole show to this day. He don't own the show.
I gotta ask him about that.
Ask him about it. He gonna talk about, oh, they taking the show down. They trying to do this and try to do that. We talk about paperwork.
Did y'all take any shows down?
I ain't take shit.
Yeah.
I ain't take shit. I ain't filed nothing. I don't own nothing over there. We had a settlement where I got paid and I got missing. And I turned my back on it. I was like, because originally I wanted the show to do well. You my brother. No matter how much, you know what I'm saying, actually, you can only fuck over me to a certain point. Like I give you a pass. But when I realize you fucking around, like that shit there, we gonna burn all them bridges.
Right.
So I get a lot of questions about, you know, why black people can't do business. Here's a prime example why black people can't do business. Some shit just ain't meant to happen. I was supporting everything. Like when I left, I said, man, go kill that shit. But then once I started getting the text messages about my house, about this, calling me this type of fuck nigga and that type of fuck nigga, I was like, man, burn. Oh, that shit burn. I don't give a fuck what happened over there.
And sometimes the fans call out the energy. The fans be like, these niggas in competition, bro. I'm telling y'all, come out swinging with them.
We feel like we in our own lane. We get it. Like, they gonna call that out.
Yeah.
But as much as the shows look similar, they different.
Yeah.
We not about drama.
Yeah. But he said, but Shady said that he saw somebody at the Pittsburgh game and that somebody tweeted some wild shit. Or
I get to that. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
We're not in competition with them. Actually, we are, because
I'm saying keep it gangster.
That's life.
Yeah,
That's
and y'all
we
niggas,
talked about at the
NFL
beginning.
niggas.
We talked about competition.
Yeah.
Kids, they don't know it's defined as competition.
Right.
When they compete for the space with their parents.
Exactly.
But it's competition.
Exactly.
So naturally, because we're in the same space, fuck it. We in competition.
Yes.
Like indirectly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't
Like,
that I'm
ain't
saying.
no beef.
Exactly.
Ain't no
Beef and
beef.
competition is
And it
different.
shouldn't even be no fucking media beef.
Yeah, ain't
We
no
all
media
talking-
beef
we
with
like-
Millionaire.
We depend on the guests to drive the content and the
Right.
conversation. So how can I have beef with you when we're both dependent upon the same product?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So
Some
without the-
oftentimes have the same guest.
And what, of course, you know, but like you say, the message is different.
Yeah.
Like we don't look for drama.
Right.
B say I got media training. They look for drama. They know how to find excerpts to go and use it as promo to get drama. We don't look for that. The worst shit that has come from the pivot has been Channing's comment on Russell Wilson.
Are those shots at B? Because B's close to Russell, ain't he?
Them
It
one
almost
shot- them-
it
them
almost
one-
feel
them-
like there's
them one
this.
shot.
Okay,
Ain't
so
no shot.
Channing really
It was
feels
never-
like.
I ain't never no shots at B.
Okay.
I ain't never no shots.
Okay.
at
Okay.
B. If we gonna take shots at B, I'm gonna take a shot at B right now.
Right.
I ain't no shot. I'm trying to smooth it out.
Right.
I'm gonna keep it gangster and be transparent.
Right.
But ain't no shots. Ain't no calculated shots.
Right. Okay.
This just conversation.
Okay.
Russ wasn't no shot at B. We didn't even know that shit was gonna happen. We said let's talk about the off-season free agent acquisitions that happened. And Russ came up. And Channing, who's from Georgia, Atlanta, was talking about Future, and the Russ thing came up.
Okay. I can
And that
see
shit
how that.
just
I
kinda
can see how
happened.
that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And me and Russ have some relationships through our sports psychiatrist, Trevor Mowad, who passed away some months ago. Trevor was amazing. That's how I became to know Russ, through Trevor. I always thought Russ was a stand-up person. You can see what he's about.
Right.
Channing said he's a great family man. He's a great father. He's a great player. But his demeanor is that of a lame or corny.
Yeah.
And people can look at it.
Yeah.
Like people see Russ and Sierra's union
Yeah.
and they want to protect that.
Right.
Especially because we don't see that often in the black community.
Right.
I
Right.
get
Right.
it.
Right. Right.
I get it.
Just real
And Channing,
love.
Channing
Just-
wasn't shooting at that.
Yeah.
Channing see the fatherhood. He sees the husband. He sees the friend.
And he said that. He said
but
that.
people don't
side.
want that. Even when that shit dropped,
Right.
they heard me and Ryan on the back end and say, man, Sierra don't want no toxic shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She did with that.
Right.
She did that, in her life. Women want to evolve.
Yes.
They want to grow. They don't want that bullshit. So they dismiss what me and Ryan said.
Pulled his.
But that's media.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
That's the algorithm
right?
play.
That's the algorithm
Yeah,
play.
yeah.
And it ain't just the blogs or the sites or the companies, the platforms. It's the actual algorithm on the back end.
Right. That's
Instagram want
you're
that,
interested
right.
in this. They
But
keeping
that's how
that
it
going.
break down.
Yeah.
But the lower masses,
average mind don't
people
understand that.
don't
Yeah.
understand that that's the business model.
Yes.
Right on the back end.
Yes.
So he did say
Outrage.
that, but it wasn't a shot at B.
Yeah.
It was just a conversation through conversation, a line that got out, and people said, "All right, we're gonna run with it."
Well, what about the Shady McCoy thing with the bus thing? He said somebody, I think it was RC, might have been RC, got on the bus and said, "Hey, when you're
All right,
family, you don't gotta."
But RC played for Pittsburgh,
Right.
Right.
So all those shots is what I'm saying.
We bumped heads in Pittsburgh, right? We didn't know they was gonna be there. They was doing a camp tour that we had already started doing. They wasn't doing a camp tour. We was doing a camp tour. What we talked about media credentials.
Right. Yes.
On the field
Right.
access.
Yes.
This a certain type of access.
Yes.
Excuse me. Because in this space, it's about access.
Yes.
To guests, to teams,
Yes.
to
100%.
all this different stuff. It's about access. So Ryan's in relationships. Ryan's relationship with Pittsburgh came from him being a former player. With Coach Tomlin, we had just done Coach on the show, right? That's access. We have full reign and an invite to come during training camp our training camp show on the road, the pivot, every team we talked to, we was invited. We had credentials to be there. What Ryan said was, when your family, which he is, or the Steelers organization, when you're family, you don't have to ride the bus.
See, I got to get RC on here, because how is that not a shot? But
I mean, look,
tell me this.
It was listen. It was true.
Because he and me and you know, it's almost like Jay-Z talking in them rhymes to Drake.
Transparent. It was a subtle shot.
Exactly. It's like Jay in them rhymes where he'll say certain shit.
But
I ain't even saying that's a beef thing, but it's like it's recognizing competition.
It's recognizing competition. It's the truth. It's the truth. And it was a subtle shot.
Yes.
Because they wasn't invited. They got access based on them going. If you look at the training camp shows.
So that's what that was.
Their training camp shows were snippets. Our training camp shows were sit downs. Their training camp shows was who's your top 5. Because if YouTube has YouTube shorts, right? Where you take your promos and you put it, and that get X amount of views.
You're getting into the game.
You're getting into the game, but it's not always monetizing. You're trying to build your brand.
Right.
So there's a difference. Depends on how you want to look at it.
Well, I'm saying you breaking down the information of this YouTube thing. You're breaking it down now.
It's shorts, right? In different clips. So that's what they focused on. We was focused on doing what we do. And that's having whole shows.
Damn, like a podcast,
for
whole show.
We maintain our show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you take.
Now, tell the casual fan, before you move on, is there a difference in access to be able to do those two things?
1,000%. Because we get access to their media rooms. You know what I'm saying? And we're doing it the right way. We're contacting their PR department saying, hey, we're looking to sit down with XYZ, this player, that player, that player. What's his availability? And when you approach it that way, it's a respect factor that's gained and that comes back. And then when you kill it with their players, you don't dirty the team up.
Yes.
You don't dirty the player. It's wholesome.
Yes.
It's lifestyle. Teams have been buttoned up for decades.
Yes.
They want to get into showing the lifestyle side of their players, the vulnerability.
It's important to show
the
that.
transparency
because of y'all.
Player, because people don't get that access.
Yes, I'm saying.
We talk to journalists all the time. They say, man, we jealous. Not in a bad way, but in a way that they know the access we get, they don't get.
That's what I'm saying.
They
Y'all
can sit
changed
down
it.
with LeBron or
gonna be different.
Stephen Diggs or Von Miller, and they can ask questions. The player immediately got a block up.
Exactly.
Because they know the history of it. But if they sit down with us who've been in those seats and been in those locker rooms, they're going to say, damn, I'm comfortable.
See, y'all were the same. That's what made I Am Athlete so important, or y'all together, y'all chemistry and all of that so important, is because y'all were the second wave.
Right.
The first wave of that was your people like Shaq and Charles Barkley and those people who had these prestigious media positions.
Right.
But then y'all come with the niggas that he got 11,000 yards.
Right.
And he talking to us about coming through the hole and what it was like when the Patriots sent the blitz, and and it's like that whole thing. And then on top of that, dealing with what it took to get there, dealing with what it took to sustain, dealing with what it took to get through the hurdles of the information from the taxes and X, Y, and Z was so important, man. Y'all changed it. So basically, you saying that they were not invited. RC got on the bus, recognized they're there. Oh, they're on the bus. You don't got to ride the bus when you family. He got off.
That was Ryan RC's.
Does this translate to anything, or is this just friendly media? I
don't even want to call it media beef. That shit.
Nah, I ain't saying beef. It's just media competitiveness.
Because of the history,
right?
The dynamic of that, it comes across as that.
Yeah.
And I still holler at Pac. I support Pac for what he's doing in his movement in the cannabis space.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Burner.
His Pac strand and what he's trying to do. So we had our friction, you know what I'm saying? But I go back and say, little bro, I support you.
Yeah.
When that shit was going on, the shit happened in Vegas back in the day. He was with the Titans. I was Jacksonville. We played each other twice a year. I walk out the Pac not even knowing him in the end zone.
Yeah.
But he's warming up. I say, little bro, don't crack the bank, bro. You the bank.
Yeah.
The niggas around you got to understand that anything happen to you, all that money gonna run out the bank.
Yeah.
Don't let them niggas crack the bank.
Yeah.
Make sure they understand their position.
Yeah.
So that was our initial conversation.
Right,
when we
right.
first
It's
met.
real. Yeah.
And that he always, big bro, I love you.
Yeah.
From that day forward, right?
Yeah.
And then the podcast shit happened where he went over there. He saw an opportunity for him. I can't knock that.
And
He
but
was
Peck,
looking for,
Peck, he a good. He might
he
go
solid.
though. He might go. He might adopt this shit a little bit different than because he come from where I come from.
That's true. So with that, knowing that, you know what I'm saying, and even my background, I'm like, bruh, it don't make no sense really to have no tension.
Right.
So I fell back.
Right.
And whatever came from over there. Ain't no response.
Yeah.
And the same thing from my side. But to see him doing this thing, right, I say, bruh, I hate him. Like, bruh, keep going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. Just keep going. But whatever shots happen, you know what I'm saying? Even like in music, shots happen. Jay, Nas, this nigga, that nigga. It can help them run up their numbers. Not saying we doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I sincerely want Pac to do his thing. I told the Shady, like, damn, bro, like, look, bro, like.
He said you wasn't really nice on the field, I think.
Nah, he ain't say that.
I think he said so on
He
Joe
ain't say
Budden.
that.
He said
He ain't say that.
he
Yeah,
said
he can't say that.
Hold on. He said Fred was one of them niggas that was he wasn't. Was it you or somebody else?
Nah, he ain't say me.
Fred or who else?
Nah,
Channing
nah.
maybe.
He ain't say me.
Cause you was a dog.
Yeah, he ain't say
I'm
me.
talking about you was a dog.
He ain't say
So
me.
if he said it, I'm gonna put it in this interview.
No.
But
look
I don't
for
think
it.
I don't think
Like,
he
whatever it
couldn't have
is,
been you. I'm gonna say he didn't say because you
nah.
was a monster.
Yeah, nah. That's why I feel like he ain't say me because, like, when I look at this shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, Shady was nice.
He was nice too.
You know what I'm saying?
Crazy work was nice.
Yeah, you when you bust it down and look at errors, and numbers and defenses, who I came up against and who he came up against, and it's not taking nothing away from. I played against Ray Lewis twice a year for 5 years. I played against the Steelers defense twice a year for 5 years.
When
You know
they
what I'm
was
saying?
in their prime.
In their prime. I
Yeah.
played against the Titans when they went to the
Dogs.
Super Bowl for them years, twice a year in that division.
Yeah.
The old AFC Central before the realignment in 2005. So a nigga can't never talk about my credibility
Right.
on the field. So that's why I know he ain't say that.
But I
So
love that. I love
the-
that feeling from
you
you.
know what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
your energy.
No, that's the
you
past,
wouldn't
cause-
listen. You wouldn't even accept it.
Nah.
I love that energy. Look,
But
so
niggas that I played against ain't gonna say.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you run and holler at Ray, you run and holler at
Nah, you
Ed
was a
Reed,
beast. Ain't
talk
no
to
doubt.
Derrick Brooks, talk to Warren Sapp,
Yeah.
talk to them boys and say, look, you got Shady right here, which was a dog. You got Freddie right here. I'm gonna take that bit 90 in a second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole different, and it's just competitive.
Yeah.
Even on the back end. it's
Yeah. That's
competitive.
why I love
But
though.
that-
I
that-
love that
that's-
spirit from y'all.
That's the nature of the beast. but-
What about B? What do you say? B Marshall
Hold up,
played the
hold up.
game.
Let me-
Go ahead.
Remember that question? Let me
Okay, my bad. Do you think B Marshall played tough? Cause he was a dog too. He played tough. He roughed a couple of niggas up. But see, again, you played rough to me, and that's what when I see y'all two, like anytime I see two dogs on the field that's like having issues kind of off the field, it's always like some like you can cut the tension. It's almost like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, B was nice.
Yeah,
I'll never take that away from him. He was nice out there. Big body.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You know, coming from UCF here in Florida. Hell, even to come out of Pittsburgh to come down to Florida to go to UCF and parlay that into an NFL contract and put up the numbers he put up, that's solid. You know, I can't never take that away from him, what he did on the field.
Yeah.
Like any guy.
right.
What you
Real nigga
you
shit.
did on the field is what you did on the field.
That's real nigga shit.
You know, you got to be able to separate the player from the person.
Right.
When it all comes down to it. And what you did on the field, that's your competitive nature, instinct, your drive, the passion, but you had to have integrity to be out there.
Right.
And that's the same thing you got to have in life, no matter the business, no matter the space. You got to be competitive because you're always going to have, just like in the league, you're going to always have a younger person coming in that space to try to knock you off.
Right.
Indirectly, but some people actually aim at you, but they come in for your shit.
Right.
So
anytime you hold position.
Same thing with this, right?
Yeah.
So you just got to stand up, do what you got to do to make it happen. But, you know, Channing, RC, the people on the back end, myself, we ain't about no drama, bro.
Yeah.
Like, RC said what he said, it was the truth. Like, you know, you have moments. If they went and they grabbed that was a moment.
Right.
Plenty of times over, they shot back.
Yeah.
And we sat down and just took that and let it run.
Yeah.
We understand it. We laugh at this shit when we say we in the same lane. We not in the same lane. We do the same shit, but we're not in the same lane. The way we've been moving, like at this point, we get so many calls, people to try to come on the show. So with our relationships and the people we already got lined up and what we're trying to do, we hate to tell somebody, look, it's going to be this long before we can get your client on the show.
Yeah.
We want to have everybody on the show because we want the conversation.
Right.
Because people trust that our shit going to be clean. It ain't going to be no drama. It's about education, information, transparency, and really just shining a light on a different side of the subject, whoever that guest might be.
And I tell you, when y'all first left, and that's why I wanted to ask, because let's go back right there for a second before we talk about concussions, then we'll wrap up. When y'all left, the reason I asked, were y'all trying to tank the show, is because not only did y'all leave, but y'all pop out with like Tony O'Brien when he was on fire. This, that, right. Y'all start like.
It wasn't just a relationship. We ain't try to tank. We ain't try to tank the old show, bro. I swear to God. We ain't try to tank the show. Like
y'all just was hustling.
We had to sit back because one, you know, in any war, right, in any competitive environment, if you fail to do the research on your opponent, you're gonna lose
every time.
Because we knew who we was dealing with. You know, we knew what he was capable of. If we told anybody who he's plotting to do another show, that would have got out back to him, and he would have tried to get in front of it. And our reintroduction
would have been stepped on.
That same dynamic effect that it had. So we was on the back end, behind the scenes, talking about, we're gonna do X, Y, Z. And then it was our producer who said, all right, let's do a little promo. Fred, what you love? I'm gonna be on the golf course. Channing loves to fish. All right. Everybody been asking. You can kind of see what the people want. We're Fred and Chan.
Right.
We're Fred and Chan.
Right.
The whole fucking time. After the show started fizzling, we're Fred and Chan. Like they kept the show.
Were y'all panicking?
Nah.
So y'all were confident.
We weren't even thinking about that.
I would imagine that he was panicking. His two co-hosts just left.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm sitting here like.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, I know he was. Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. But we ain't try to.
But y'all were confident.
We wasn't even thinking about leaving him out to dry. We were thinking on business now.
Right.
Because he made
getting y'all shit together.
Yeah, he made his move. So, and it was a hard decision because I still was stuck between, do I run this? Because I don't know what a new show would do.
Exactly.
Do I run this?
Risk of ground? It do nothing?
Do I sit back and be unhappy just so I can get a little exposure about my Hall of Fame shit? I'm going to still be me and get give back my experience and wisdom or whatever you call it back to the people.
Right.
Be truthful through conversation. I'm going to do that.
Right.
But do I run that risk?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If jumping ship doesn't have the same effect.
Right.
So
but y'all got that Alicia girl, and she
came to a point. Alicia don't want like 12, 13.
That's what I'm saying. Like she's killing it over there with y'all.
She's solid, you know what I'm saying? But we all as a collective make this thing.
And that's 100% important to know.
So it was a little bit more confidence knowing the relationships she had was intact. it's so deep, bro. From the shit crazy, man. Because I kept telling Buddy, like, bro, don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
Old girl, a gold mine.
Yeah.
Like, don't fuck that relationship up. But he got bigger than that and started doing some undercut, like some conniving, some bullshit. And I'm like, bro, don't do that. Like, and he asked him out. Like, you can't do that. Now they in a situation that's ongoing, but that's that. But yeah, me and Chan just jumped shit. We ran with it. Didn't know, but the reintroduction was amazing from the people that had been waiting on us.
Yeah, and y'all
You know
come
what I'm
out
saying?
swinging.
But even with the AB, when like AB was solid, like it was a good conversation at that time that needed to be had. But if the history of it tells you anything, before Antonio Brown became AB, like he fucked with me.
Right.
Because of he coming up as a young buck.
Out
He
this
wasn't
way.
even known in Pittsburgh.
Right.
We training together. He looking up to me, OG,
Yeah.
how to maneuver.
Right.
I lined it up. This how you do it. This how you train. He looking over at me like, damn, this dude in year 11.
Killing
damn,
it. Yeah.
This how you train. This how you operate.
Yeah.
So he's seen that.
Right.
And he evolved into AB. So the love was, I'm going to go fuck with y'all on
Right.
face.
Because
I
he's
ain't
straight.
I'm texting everybody
He
else.
texting everybody.
But
he
this
hitting
is
everybody.
Pro bono. Same
Yeah.
thing with Floyd is love. And everybody else, like everybody else was love based on the love that was being reciprocated.
Right.
And that's how we was able to run it and spin everything. So our business really has been, man, it's a real pivot. Sometimes we don't even know we got to guess until the day before. We book up flights, we run it, we do it.
Handle it.
B tried to say we shitted on him with Mike Tyson and Caitlyn Jenner.
How?
But B shitted on some people that he was in partnership with at IAA that got relationships with them people. We ain't have to make no phone calls. I
So
swear to God.
how is he
on
saying
my
that?
grandma, bruh.
Yeah.
With everything I love, everything. My grandma dying with dementia right now to this day. And that shit is sad.
Yeah.
To see her in that position.
Yeah.
On all of that. Ain't never shot at beating them. We ain't never undercut them with no gas, no none of that. It's relationships that he killed, and people want to see us win because he fucked over them. That's life. So they put us in that position. The Caitlyn Jenner show, we were asked if we wanted to do that at 10 o'clock at night. We did it 10 o'clock the next day because we was in LA doing something for the Rams. It ain't about messy, about drama, about this, about
So he
that.
was supposed to have Caitlyn, and then y'all
That was
got him. Is
around
that
the
what they're
Super
saying?
Bowl time after they won the Super Bowl and all of that. I don't even know. They shout out the Caitlyn people. But
Okay,
Caitlyn
okay,
people
okay.
said, because they heard whispers of them saying they had booked her for the show. They was like, nah, we don't fuck with liars. We don't fuck with that. So we gonna come fuck with y'all because we don't fuck with that.
Okay.
The same thing with Mike. And Mike, people, his wife kind of run all his shit. Mike be here and there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mike's smart as fuck, first and foremost. But Mike is definitely calculated.
I need to get Mike on, man. That's a
That
bad
would be
move.
big.
Yeah.
Like we had a relationship through some people that we developed a relationship with,
Right.
that he burnt the bridges with, that B burned the bridges with. So they want to see us win. A couple of our guests.
So they
we
ad
done had-
looping. They ad looping.
Exactly, but that's life. That's relationship.
that's how- I
that's
mean, that
going
happens.
back to Who Knows You, what I was talking about. I don't burn bridges.
Nah.
I don't fuck around like
Yeah.
that. You fuck over me, I'm gonna calculate, I'm gonna sit tight and let you do your thing. If I loan you bread, this and that, I'm not gonna ask you for it back.
You need to
You know
get
what
that
I'm
to
saying?
me like I
Yeah,
gave it to you.
Yeah. So you want to kill that relationship, that's on your
Yeah,
hands.
yeah.
That's you for shit.
Right.
And that's the cycle.
Right.
So when them people came to us like, we got this, and this, why y'all out here? What's up? We had a
That's
talk.
big,
like,
too.
What would our fan base think of us doing Caitlyn Jenner? You know what? Fuck it.
Yeah, because we tap into another fan base. They got to
Those-
ride with us.
The risk associated with
Yeah.
what comes with that. And I'm not homophobic.
Yeah, at all.
Like I don't like this conversation. I'm talking
Yeah.
to the people.
Right.
So that came into play. Mike was supposed to come into play that same weekend, but we had to wait another 2-3 months to get Mike because, like I said,
Scheduling.
scheduling. But Mike also
He don't be fucking with shit sometimes.
has to be Mike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because
Yeah.
one day he fuck.
All for
I'm
it.
cool.
Yeah.
And then you gotta understand the trauma that he's
Yeah,
gone through.
man. Yeah.
So some days he's not with it.
Yeah.
So it still added up. But that was only because of relationship.
Right.
We never stole no fucking guest.
Right.
How that sound?
Right.
How the fuck we gonna steal a guest? We can't hate on you. If people want to come on your show,
They gonna come.
They gonna come on your show.
Yeah, that's I would
You know,
think
they gonna
so.
show up.
Yeah.
All that shit don't matter. They did Fat Joe. We just did Fat Joe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People reach out to you. People reach out to us.
Right.
For whatever reason.
Shout
they
out
wanna
Fat
do it
Joe,
for,
too.
That's what
Yeah.
they do it for. And that's love, man. Either way, ain't shitting on nobody. I'll never do that. That's just part of the business.
Right. Let me ask you this, and then we'll wrap up. How important is the Hall of Fame to you?
It's important. Like, I never knew, when I played, I didn't think about playing to get in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I thought about winning. Like, that was just the selflessness in my demeanor and how I came up. My grandmother raised me with 5 siblings in the house. My mom had me at 16. I was the oldest of 5 that eventually got to 7. My grandmother raised us in a 2-bedroom. So I had to give of myself for everything, right? I had to be big bro all the way. And I made sure how I moved was calculated, so I had to make sure they didn't do a lot of stupid shit I was doing. I had to leverage them from doing that. So even that evolved into my playing days. It was always team first. They said, all right, we're going to bring somebody in to run short yardage and run goal line. I probably gave away 30, 40 touchdowns by coming out
Just
the game.
that kind of shit, yeah.
From the 1 or 2 yard line.
Right. Which
In
you could have
hindsight,
handled.
Yeah, I retired with 66 touchdowns on the ground.
Right.
74 total combined receiving and running. Those 66 on the ground probably could have been 96.
Easy.
It probably could have been 85. Like,
Yeah.
it could have been a lot
Yeah.
if I was selfish.
Right.
You know, and to be a Hall of Famer, granted, some people first ballot, it come with fame. This is exactly what it is, the Hall of Fame.
Right.
You know, we talk the Pro Bowl, different markets. Some people do half of or a quarter or 3/4 of what you've done, but if they're in a bigger market,
See, that's where it gets
it's
fuzzy.
bigger.
Yeah.
But that's just the nature of the game.
That's business.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Going back to my rookie year, I rushed a lot of guys, but because they already was established and had a name, they was in better market, they got the nod of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, you got one Pro Bowl, I think.
I got one.
Yeah.
When Randy, shout out to my 98 brother, man, the best class in the history of the game, I think. Peyton Manning, Charles Woods, and Randy Moss. You know, myself and just a few first rounders. Going back to our rookie year, Randy got rookie of the year, and Peyton was like 3rd. I was 2nd runner up. I still feel like I should have won it, right? I know now that don't even matter.
Yeah.
But when you look at the numbers,
Criteria was met.
right? So you look at the numbers. Randy and I had about the same amount of touchdowns. I had more yards, and he was in Minnesota. He had 2 big games, Green Bay and the Cowboys, and the perfect timing. Big media game.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Green Bay. That's
For
the
sure.
history, the mecca
For sure.
of football.
For sure.
He killed both of them. I'm talking about
Smoked them.
both of them his rookie year. That ascended him to win the rookie of the year. Who's voting on it? Media. Same thing with Hall of Fame. The selectors is 48 selectors.
And it's media.
32 from 32 from local media markets that follow the team. Every team has a person, and then it's 16 national selectors because the national media. So it's 48 in total. They decide who the Hall of Famers are. Now it's their job to go back and say, all right, let's debate Fred Taylor.
Right.
Why we feel
That he's not who he is.
exactly.
Right.
So whatever they say, that gets you into the semifinalists. The key is to getting into that finalist room. Then you do a deep dive. I've been semifinalist 3 times, right?
What is stopping it from going the next?
Other guys that might come out that might be first ballot. Then
Okay.
Previous finalists that has a history of being a finalist and they've been close.
Okay.
You know, so the timing is what it is.
Right.
Right? I know for at least the next 5 to 6 years, I probably should be the #1 running back candidate because Frank Gore just retired.
Shout out Frank. He hit me up too. Shout
That's
out
my
Frank.
dog,
Yeah.
bruh. Same thing about training and guys that come up on
Right.
teaching them how to do,
Right.
how to be a pro. Frank G, little bruh, he definitely should be first ballot. And then
It was a monster.
for sure. And then you got Adrian Peterson, who probably this year finally announced that they're retiring. Now their clock started. You got
Right.
5 years post-career
Before you
is
can
when
even
you're
be
eligible, right?
eligible,
So
right?
I got about a 5-year window for running back because my number's better than all the running backs that's currently out right now.
That's eligible,
That's eligible
Right.
now.
right?
And my number's better than I got the 15th best numbers in the history of the NFL, or even the guys that's in there,
15th.
for sure.
So what is it like?
It ain't on me.
That's what I don't get.
It ain't on me. I always telling people, because they always come now and say, you're next. After Boselli went in back in Jacksonville, shout out Big Bo, who's definitely deserving. His career was cut short, which was the only argument, but Big Dog was that truth.
Right.
He's the best lineman in the game while he played.
Right.
And he's deserving. But they say, you next. Don't worry, you next. I ain't worried.
Right.
The best timing in the
You
world.
think it's a lock though? You're gonna go to the Hall.
know what?
You
I-
should
I-
go. You can't say it whether it's a
let
lock.
me say this. The best timing in the world is God's timing.
Ooh, that's deep.
I can't control nothing.
That's deep.
So whenever that is, if I can say it myself, I want to be in there yesterday.
Exactly.
But it ain't on me.
Right.
So the gratitude and the thankfulness and all of that shit that probably I'll be overwhelmed with when it does happen is based on God's timing. I can't control that. You can't control it.
Sure.
Us coming together today, that shit was all out of our line.
Right.
But when it happened, the appreciation for
Exactly.
it, that feels better than anything
Exactly.
else. So I think about it. I know the different thing. It's unfortunate you got to campaign if you're not first ballot. You got to set yourself up. You got to kind of respectfully align yourself in the vision of those people that are the selectors. And it's one thing because you got players that you played against, the Ray Lewises of the world. Ray will tell you quick. Freddie
He
was a
been in
dog.
there. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even Randy, who was on the other side, we was teammates in New England. Randy will tell you, boy, ain't nothing like 2-8.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Warren Sapp, same thing.
Right.
What I did to Tampa, Super Bowl defense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Derrick Brooks.
Yeah.
Same
I'm
thing.
telling you, it was a
Eric
dog.
Reed,
Bro. Yeah.
all those Raven defenses, the Titan defenses, Troy Polamalu, who's a Hall of Famer, in Pittsburgh. These guys that I actually played against.
Who have high level of respect for
What
what
I
you
did
did
on the
the
back
field.
end
Yeah.
during those matchups. These are the people you would think would have
The power.
a small say in
Yeah.
it, right? The actual Hall of Famers
Right.
that are out there.
Right.
The guys that did it before me, the Marcus Allens, what Jim Brown said about me when he was more of a clear sounder mind
Right.
years ago when I came into the league. He said I was his favorite running back. That should carry
deep.
some weight.
Yeah.
The style of play, how I
Yes.
presented myself, all that different stuff.
Yes.
So it'll happen when it happens.
Right.
At
I
the end
believe
of the
so.
day. That's the way the game goes.
I believe so, man. This is my last question. 10 years from now, do you see IAA, I'm Athlete, and Pivot doing anything?
You know, I can honestly say I understand this space. You know, what Charlemagne, Angela Yee, and Ambi did for the radio space, which they've been podcasting for years.
Yes, that's
It
all
wasn't
it
called
is.
podcast.
Right.
But they've been doing.
They
so
help
kinda
shape and
set the
form this
tone,
space. Yes.
right. And you know, Angela, she's gone off to go do her own thing.
Right.
But they've been the example of what longevity looks like
100%.
in the media space. Even other people, you know,
Shaq and Barkley and them too.
the Ricky Smiley, just
Yeah,
radio.
Ricky.
You know, just simple radio.
yes.
And being able to run with it.
Yes.
You know, and longevity. We call it radio, but that's really like it's podcasting.
Yes, 100%.
Like we're more long form.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And not the short form, although our promos are also short form with
Right.
TikTok and all this other
Right,
stuff. But to be able to withstand and sustain for years, that it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like people like this shit ain't overnight. It ain't easy.
Right.
booking guests
Right.
can be a bitch. It can be challenging.
It's a lot, bro.
We never even wanted it to come to that.
Right.
We wanted people to understand that me, Ryan, and Channing can drive a show by ourselves.
Right.
But people are enamored, you know,
Getting the
by
conversation with y'all.
guests.
Yes.
They want to be able to be enlightened by the guests, seeing a different side of the guest. So our thing kind of transformed to that.
Right.
And every now and then we go back and say, all right, we
still can carry it, yeah.
With trending topics.
Right.
You know, with whatever's going on in the world, we can speak to that. But to really answer your question, with the group, you know, the guys that we're with and the people in the background doing their thing, we can be here in 10 years.
Right.
You know, I can't speak to IAA. Again, I said I supported them in the beginning. I know it's indirect competition, and people say they can rock with both. I get that and understand it. Ain't no animosity towards anybody that's over there. It's good that I understand and I can see the opponent, right? So I know how to move.
Right.
But yeah, like whatever they do, they do.
Y'all can't go on tour. There's no business to be had in the future at all. It's too many people on your side. It's too many.
I can't speak to the future because I don't know.
Right. But where you sit now, you don't see that.
Where I'm sitting at right here now, here today, in the next month, 2-3 months, a year outlook, I'm gonna say no to that.
Right.
Because that bridge, I believe, was burned, and ain't no coming back.
And then you got people on your side that also
people on my
bad.
side that still got some tie-ups with what's going on over there. You know, the shit I showed you on my text message that I can expose, but I ain't gonna do.
That's deep.
You don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's deep.
And yeah, so nah, that shit ain't gonna happen no time.
Hey man, I appreciate you. I held you over a little more, man. I appreciate you, bro. Great conversation. And you know, we locked in, man. I got your number. You got my number.
For
Anything you need. If I need some help, I'll reach out to you. But
Yes,
I
sir.
really appreciate you coming by. I talked to B tomorrow. We're gonna see some of his interpretation of some
whatever
of these things.
pushback, man, run it.
Yeah.
Like run it. Shit, like that's my truth. Obviously, you know, sometimes we can have our different perception of situations.
Right.
You know, he might but that shit happened in life.
Right.
So he might see it this way, but I can guarantee you everything on my dying grandmother, bruh. That's 1,000% transparent, black and white. I ain't hold shit back other than some of the texts
That you showed me.
that could be crazy, because that's a different light. That's a whole different thing. That's personal.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Bino, I sent him the message. I seen him. I showed like what the goon said. Like people seen him walking, bro. Like they want to touch him. Nah, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, like I'm solid. Like I don't claim to even be that. I came from that back in the muck, but I'm 46 years old. I don't have time for that.
And it ain't that serious, man.
It ain't that serious.
I mean, it's some money at stake, but you know,
It ain't even like we good.
Oh, so
Like,
then it ain't
good.
that serious. Yeah.
On the money side,
Yeah.
like we I can't speak to his money situation, like, but we good. I got shit lined up.
Yeah.
Setting up for my boys,
Yeah.
my kids, my daughter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't speak to nobody else's situation, man. Yeah, he gonna talk to what he talked to.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. And definitely got to do this again. I need the whole gang. You know, I'll pull up on the gang, man, and get all y'all. Because RC, I even want to ask him how he felt even taking that position. You know, I also want to ask him.
He called B first.
Right. I know.
He called
I
B.
heard him say that. And I also want to ask him, is ESPN, like, how is that, right? Is that a threat to ESPN by doing that show right now? Maybe not.
I
But
can
what if
tell
it
you
gets
this.
bigger?
I don't really know the way deep part of it.
Yeah.
But when we do First Take, and when we go there, there's always a open door return policy where the producers and the big wigs who produce that show and other shows on ESPN have extended an open invite to the pivot anytime
So that would indicate there's no threat.
there's availability.
Yeah.
So they understand.
They
what
appreciate
RT is
what he's
about.
doing because it's a
You know,
it's a
and the crazy
workaround.
thing for me is this too, real quick, is after this Kanye thing about cancellation and speaking to, you know, the Jewish population and anti-Semitism, anti-Semitics and
Right.
and all that stuff. And he talked about cancel and being gagged and can't speak to this, and Shaq's upon and Barkley's upon, and you got the networks behind people pulling strings and
Yeah.
shit. Like, to really be honest, man, I think a lot of these guys are just being opinionated. We're slowly evolving into this.
Exactly.
The bigger networks, they see how people gravitate to the independent,
Exactly.
which is us.
Right.
Be independent at the pivot.
The transparent. Yeah.
The transparency,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So the networks see that.
Right.
So back in the day, you couldn't even say shit on TV.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
now
saying?
they try to loosen the.
They've been
Yeah.
loosening it up.
Yeah.
And granted, producers, they have an agenda to a certain extent. They want to lay you up, but then your words are your words.
Exactly.
And granted, they do have the power to edit, but majority of these shows are taped with a 5-6 second delay.
So they can even cut it if they
They
want
can
to.
cut it, but what they cutting is just curse words.
Right.
Now they gonna throw it out there because guess what else it bring?
Clicks, eyeballs.
It bring all of that.
Yeah.
So why they gonna stop Shaq from saying what Shaq want to
Right,
say
right.
about the Kyrie situation?
Right.
Or this person.
Do you
saying
think they
wanna
should
say about-
stand with Kyrie, or should they speak out against Kyrie?
It's. I don't think. I think whatever.
Could they be
warranted-
silent if they felt it?
I think they can easily say no comment.
Right.
Everybody's granted that to say no comment. I think they felt a need to speak their opinion on the subject because of that's just their thought, right?
Yeah.
My opinion on it, I think Kyrie has always had an agenda, right? The flat earth thing,
Yeah.
that's not what I believe.
Me neither.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what he believes. So he speak to it. I don't think. Well, I know that Kyrie isn't. He doesn't believe in anti-Semitism. He's not anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
I think he loves all people. You know, at the end of the day,
Right.
I think when they asked him if he's going to apologize to it, his back was against the wall. He was basically saying, "I said what I said."
Yeah.
So I don't condone any hate of any form of
Right.
fashion. Otherwise, obviously, they wouldn't call me Freddie Flowers. I'm always trying to show love, right?
Yeah.
But just trying to be open-minded.
Did they
I
hurt
saw
him?
something-
Did they hurt him speaking out against him? Did they hurt
But
his?
you got to understand who blacks, when we talk about ownership, you don't see the blacks owning no media outlets, no team, no
Right.
franchises, none of that, right? Well, it's one black, I think, owned a media outlet. That's my guy who
Diddy?
Diddy has one, but also who owns the Weather Channel now and started from comedy. I think is Byron Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, he's successful, got it from the mud.
Right. Shout out to him.
But when you look at the big picture,
We're not as effective as we need to be in
right,
those
who's
spaces.
in control?
Right.
Right. I think that, especially after hearing what Nick Cannon said, the dehumanization of an individual is where the buck should stop. You know, they have all these different demands that Kyrie has to adhere to before he can become eligible to play again.
Right.
I think that is sort of it's dehumanizing him.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
shut
you
up.
got these 6 things you got to do, which I don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
Now, if he came to say, okay, I am remorsefully apologetic because I didn't have all of the details into this documentary. I ain't seen it.
Right.
So I can't
Me
speak
neither.
to it.
Yeah.
I ain't even see what he tweeted.
I didn't either. I haven't even
so
seen
it's hard
it.
to speak to that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm looking at the after effects.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people were hurt.
Exactly.
But look at the history of black people.
Exactly.
And our plight. A lot of people were hurt. What do you call when you discriminate against black people? It's called racism.
Exactly.
And then when you do it against Jews based on their history and what happened with the Holocaust and the 6 million deaths, of the Holocaust, then anything that's spoken against Jewish religion or the Jewish community is considered anti-Semitic, right? Anti-Semitism. And because he reposted that, it came across as if he was promoting it.
Right.
I can't speak to that.
Right. Me neither.
Right? But
It's
what I can
slippery.
speak
That's
to
very slippery.
Is I think that he is sincere in his apology.
Yeah.
Of late, when they initially asked him, he's like, I don't think I should apologize for that. But then he came out and apologized.
Right.
Not so he can play.
Right.
We know he don't give a damn
because he'll take it on in.
Right.
Yeah,
And he's shown that.
Yeah.
So it wasn't because of that. It was because he potentially went back. And this is just me guessing.
Right.
I don't know. He could have potentially went back.
Got some new information.
Got some new information, whether it's watched the entire documentary
Or understood the ramifications.
and understood everything that's going on. He's not a sellout.
Yeah, no,
You
he's
know what
not
I'm
been.
saying? He stood up for the people who have actually been brutally assaulted for years, whether it's physically, verbally. We understand police brutality, what a lot of people think don't exist. But I want to know what's that one term that they use for our race.
Exactly.
When we are
Experiencing. Yes.
experience those things.
Yes.
So the different religions that are protected versus not protected. What's our true identity?
Exactly.
What was deleted and erased from
And
these,
I think
from
what
these
we're
history
seeing
books?
with Kanye and Kyrie and others is us searching for that. Like,
It's-
what's happening?
Kanye is his attempts are come from a place.
He's taking low percentage shots.
low percentage.
Yeah,
shots.
he's taking a lot of low
definitely
percentage shots.
confused, and he has.
But I understand what he
sacrificed a lot.
Yeah.
I think he
definitely
goes-
sacrificed a lot.
He sacrificed a lot to try to display a certain message.
Yes.
Part of it I might agree with, and a lot of it the approach I don't.
Yes.
Right. But that's neither here nor there. At the moment, for me, I hope these guys and their message benefit the people that they're trying to get the message out to.
Right.
Which is really just our people. They
Yes.
took those shots that our people and hope that our people wake up.
Yes. And
see how the game
understand
is played.
something's
But
happening.
not everybody's going to say that.
No.
Now, as soon as I shoot you down, right, then, like Nick Cannon said, it was about buck breaking.
Right.
We got to line Kyrie up and say, you got to do all these things, much like they did the slaves back in the
Yes.
day. We bring your biggest, your strongest, and break him down.
Yes.
Now everybody else gets in line.
Yes.
People look at it and say, well, that was X amount of hundred of years ago.
What they got to do with technique. That's still the technique.
Even when you talk about law enforcement.
Yeah.
Indirectly, if we go and we create a fear factor, hopefully everybody else get in line. But then you have those that are going to try to escape the plantation.
Exactly.
And rebel.
Exactly.
That's just the history of it.
That's
Because we're
part
trying
of
to
it.
find our people.
Exactly. And I
The
think that's
schools
what
don't
you're
do that.
seeing. That's what you're seeing with that. And I definitely want, this is a PSA, Nick, I need you on the show for sure.
Even though Nick went through his thing, man, and he get his pushback, and he's still coming to try to really educate and speak to the masses about it. You got to commend that brother, man, because it's not easy, but it's truthful. I don't know enough
Me
to
neither.
really dive that deep.
Yeah. But that's why this dialogue comes, right? It's like we need to have these minds in the room. Now, here's what I'll say. Nick Cannon, speaking on the Kyrie Irving situation, lets you know, because he had to go educate himself even more as they try to send him through the ringer.
Right.
But him speaking on it for me was so important because he put it in a way where he understands they understand it.
Right.
See, so a lot of times we'll be having these conversations, making these points, but we have to structure it in a way where it's understood by the masses.
Right.
And I think that that's what he's trying to present, even with that clip that he did. Because in my opinion, they don't want the apology. They want to embarrass him.
I ain't see the clip.
Yeah.
But I seen the guidelines
Of what he
that
was
he has
speaking
to
of.
adhere to before he's reinstated.
Well, I mean the Nick Cannon clip. When
I seen the Nick Cannon
but the
clip.
Kyrie situation, I feel like they don't want the apology. They want to embarrass him.
Right.
Why would you? And if there's 20 things I got to do, why
Right.
can't we keep that under wraps?
Right.
And you bring
Right.
that to me and just say, hey, here's these 6 things, man. It'll really make us feel better if you did this. You put it out. Hey, he better do this. It's like
Right. And, and that part of it is where the buck breaking
yes
comes into play, because I think every community has their share of Jewish leaders, right? People that we respect in the community.
Yes.
But when they said he has to go and meet with the Jewish leaders, what community are you talking about?
Right.
Is that in Miami?
That's what I'm
Is that in
saying.
New York?
Of
Is
your
that in
choice.
California.
Then
Who are the so-called Jewish leaders? Now, granted, he's expressed remorse
Yes.
for not knowing. He has been very apologetic, and he wants to right this. But he also wants to bring attention to, when you look at different races, who has who's been, I guess, on the bottom end of this thing, what we call life.
Right.
It's been those races, namely the blacks being on the very bottom of the totem pole.
For sure.
So these guys are just yelling out for help.
Exactly.
And how can we get our people
confused rich black men.
But that's always been.
Yeah, with I've come in the money, I've come in the information, I'm confused, and I'm looking to see, hey, this what the contracts? Something's not.
He trusted that documentary to have sustainable
legit,
resources,
because it's
that
on the
might
platform.
have come from books and this and that. But that's what you got to do in this day and age.
For sure.
You got to go and research and collect the information yourself before you regurgitate.
Especially in that position.
Certainly, because it's harmful.
Yes.
Same thing with Kanye and the White Lives Matter shirt. Why that shirt? When we understand why people said black, not the entity Black Lives Matter.
The chant.
'Cause that was scammy.
Yes.
But the whole chant.
Yes.
More than the entity.
Yes.
Because we know that. But we understand all lives matter on the big scheme of things, but don't discount our message and our fight and what we are trying to say, because it does. And in that moment, it didn't seem like Black Lives mattered. And then he turns around and wears a shirt that kind of goes the other way.
And I told him when
that's
it was And I said to him, I said, look, you confusing your family, because I look at us blacks like family, especially when we become millionaires and get out there operating amongst these. See, once you get billions, you no longer Fred versus Lone. It's now the such and such family versus Kanye West. He was going up against families like doing business with the Adidas shit and Gap shit. These are families that own this. So you got this black dude trying to figure out his space without his family. Lost his family.
That empowered him.
I'm saying.
Because any other billionaire, they want to teach and educate. They don't have time for shit but their business. And how can they sustain those levels? Trust me, the billionaires that I've come across, they operate on Ambien and energies.
Yeah,
like
you got to stay up at
from
it.
Everything that they're involved with, and they don't have no time for no bullshit.
Right.
So, but because you crown this guy with the creative genius and all of this, like
you gave him that confidence.
We have to, as a people, understand who we're putting confidence in.
Right.
And who we're trusting. Because when you look at them and they don't meet the criteria, it's like a letdown. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened when they saw those shirts. Then he come back and say, well, this was the message I was, and I get that
your message. Fuck your message.
The jealous, I'm jealous to this.
Yeah,
I'm jealous
fuck
to
your
that.
message. You confusing your family. If I'm looking in my house and my kids is
You can't do
confused,
that.
I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
If they asking me, Daddy, why is you really with us?
Right.
If my family's saying that, I'm doing something wrong.
Right.
Fuck your message.
Everybody confused.
You confusing your people, man.
Yeah, that's a whole
Yeah.
shit. That's another thing.
But man, listen, I appreciate you, bro. We definitely lock back in, man. Fred Taylor, biggest podcast in the world. Let's